Aye?
Chicken jockey!
Good evening, one and all. Welcome to this April 6th. I'm looking at April 7th, but I have to say April 6th edition of Show Business. I come to you as always as Charles, otherwise known as CeePo. To screen upper right is Greg Poupé. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing good. Glad to be here. Fantastic box office weekend, the biggest of some age. So, yeah, it's good to be here, man.
And of course, bottom screen right is Lindsay of My Two Cents of Nonsense. Lindsay, how are you on this glorious Minecraft Sunday?
Oh, I am so Minecraft-tastic. It's an incredible time to be alive. The greatest film of our age has been released, guys. Godfather, eat your heart out. Apocalypse Now, go to hell. Minecraft.
Yeah.
Minecraft.
We'll discuss the numbers for a second, and then I'll have this generic why question, but to the weekend that was estimates, of course. Minecraft, of course, pulling in $157 million to win the weekend. It was close, but A Working Man came in second with $150 million less at 7.2. The Last Supper Part 2 opened this weekend and rounds out the top three with 6.7. Snow White falls all the way to fourth with 6 million. The Woman in the Yard in fifth with 4.5, and then a bunch of slop there. Death of a Unicorn, The Last Supper Part 1, Hell of a Summer, The Friend, Captain America, Brave New World, hanging on for dear life with 1.3 million. So, a Minecraft movie. I had no understanding of how big a deal this was. Like, I've gone to cons and things where people would have the foam pickaxe thing, like I don't know. I'm just too old where when I saw like the game, the option to play it, I'm like, this looks like old Tetris graphics. I'm not doing this. And I just kind of like am too old for that bus. I missed that bus like 4 stops ago. So I don't understand the cultural phenomenon.
Maybe not that part of it, but come on, it's Jared Hess directing it and writing it. Like, you have to remember him from Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre.
I was reminded very quickly with the tater tot pizza. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
The tots are there for a reason.
A calling card for Jared Hess.
Yeah, he's had kind of lesser success with a lot of the other things that he's done. Gentleman Broncos never hit as big, but he was in some really interesting stuff like Son of Zorn and like Last Man on Earth. He's been on different types of comedy, but I guess he lasted Thelma the Unicorn last year. I did not happen to catch that one, but I don't know, man. There were some interesting character things put in this, which definitely kind of spoke of that Jared Hess-ness.
Interesting is a word I would probably use. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on top of the film itself, if I searched anything for the movie related, like I was bombarded with memes with like 10-second just chaos clips that, like, I don't know, I think would be funny to an 8-year-old because it just has a loud noise. I mean, in the intro, we kind of played on the I Am Steve thing there. It feels like it's like when Morbius came out and it had that internet, that movie YouTube, that movie Twitter space thing where like people were like doing gags on the movie and it wasn't so much like an excitement for the movie. I feel like Minecraft is just all of it at the same time. And
for sure, they even threw some of those memes into the movie, the like children yearning for the mines. There's a whole bunch of other ones that they kind of threw into this. So I think they're leaning into that heavily, and they kind of knew what they were doing with this somewhat boilerplate version of what would you call it, adaptation? I don't know. It feels very
Audacious.
much Jumanji. Like,
Oh,
I don't know. What would you call that?
Yeah.
Like, we've got Jumanji at home, Timu, Jumanji, like, whatever. It's very boilerplate.
Lynch.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy how like Minecraft it's a game entirely fueled by imagination. Like, there is the aspect of you hop into the world and you have beaten this world when you have gone to the end and you've beaten the Ender Dragon, and then if you want to, you can go and fight something called the Wither too as a super boss. So like there is a beginning, there is a middle, there is an end, but like the real thing like Minecraft is you hop in and you just make whatever comes to your mind. Like basically every computer I've ever had, I have a Minecraft world. That's just where I go when I want to have like a creative vibe, but also don't want to do anything. So I just go into Minecraft and build things, and I feel like I accomplished something, even though I know I didn't.
Such a nerd.
Oh, so 100%. But like, it's also the most successful video game of all time, and it's like a country mile between it and number two. I don't remember the exact statistics. I should have looked those up. I'm sorry, but far it far as outweighs number two is what I'm trying to say. And it's so wild to me that they took something like that and they made it the most generic, just that's really the way to put it. It's the most generic modern movie. Now, that's not to say that this thing didn't work. I think Jack Black is doing his Jack Blackiest. I think Jason Momoa is telling the world he wishes he was in an 80s hair metal band, and I kind of wish I lived in that reality. That sounds like a cool place to live. So I think they're great. I think the lead dude, the teenage dude, is good. So I think that they're like there are people in this movie trying. This isn't a paycheck movie per se. Like effort is being put in. Whether or not that effort was worthwhile and what this was originally and what it's become, and the concept of like, because again, there is a story in Minecraft, there are themes, but this movie runs in the face of those themes in a really odd way, and it's a weird mixed bag that I guess I'd have to give like a C plus to, but it's clearly in the cultural zeitgeist and is gonna to hold on in the same way that the game is. So what do I know?
Yeah, but like, so some of the gags that are like winking, I don't know. I wouldn't even say winking to the audience so much as just putting it in.
Yeah.
Is it for irony's sake? Is it for meta's sake? Like, what is the joke? And am I in on it? I guess is a better way to ask.
I think honestly, I don't know, man. Like when the theater that I saw this in, everyone saw it, right? Was I the only one? You saw it too, Greg?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think I was in the right mood for it, though. I might have enjoyed it more than I should have.
Same. There was like chunks or minutes at a time in this movie where I was into it, and then it'd fall off a cliff for a little bit, and I'd hate life. But then it kind of catch me again. But what were we gonna? Oh, okay, so the irony thing. Like when I was in the theater, and Jack Black is like, "Let's mine, and then let's craft." Let's Minecraft. A bunch of kids in the theater, or at least I thought they were kids, went, "Oh, he's sick." And everyone starts laughing and like cheering at the fact that he said let's Minecraft. But then the movie ends, and I don't think they were kids so much as like people in their mid to late 20s. So is it I guess that's the question. Like, is this movie a success, or is it gonna be a thing in the zeitgeist because it's good and people are enjoying it, or because it's bad and people enjoy how bad it is? I can't quite
it's
tell.
No Morbin time.
It's no Morbin time.
It's the highest grossing video game adaptation movie ever. Like it just beat out Mario Brothers from whatever year that was.
2 years ago, yeah.
Which was the previous highest with like 146 or something like that.
Highest opening.
Oh yeah, sorry, highest opening. Sorry, it's just the opening. I'm assuming it's not just going to drop off, but that is an assumption on my part. So I'm assuming
that'd be hilarious.
I mean,
80% drop second weekend. Like.
There's still some interesting movies coming out. Like I'm really excited for like Sinners and stuff, but there's not a lot of kids movies coming out for the next stretch. So I think they're still gonna make some money. But yeah, I don't know, man. You mentioned that it's like super boilerplate. It is like the plot, where it's gonna go. You know exactly what's going on with that. But then there's like some weird shit added into it, and I kind of dig that. Like the Jennifer Coolidge thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a Jennifer Coolidge simp, but I think everything she does is just
Sure.
hilarious. I was super into like her side plot, but you cut that away.
Dude,
The movie's the exact same. Like it doesn't have to be there, but I like the weirdness of it.
I'm pretty sure
That's the Jared Hess part.
I'm pretty sure somebody owes me money because the villager template is me. Like
I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, you might have a
Make some
case.
honking sounds.
Yeah.
He did it. He did it.
Yeah, so like with that in mind, is it Gray to kind of compare this to stand-up? Gallagher, at a certain point, the comedian, it was all about, oh, you got to sit in the front row to put the stupid thing over your head so that he squashes the watermelon. I would say that Gallagher's material was quite strong, and then at a certain point, he was just the watermelon squashing guy. How much of this is just, oh, he said they did the thing? Like, is that
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I mean that's actually like a pretty good example of it.
Yay.
Like there is some smart
yeah.
stuff mixed with the sledge-o-matic, and yeah, I mean, I'm not looking to shit on your point at all, but Gallagher was kind of always into the prop thing. Like even like some of his most clever shit, he still had this giant couch where it looked like it was like some children's television show or something going on. But man, that dude had some awesome material.
I
But
agree.
I feel like that's a really good example of this. And to me, there's a lot more sledge-o-matic. Like the entire plot, man, the graphics on it too. Not super impressive, like very inconsistent. There's certain shots that's like, okay, that looks all right. And then man, there's large stretches where you can just basically see the blue screen or green screen that they're using. And it's interesting. But yeah, I think it's a lot of sledge-o-matic. It's, they're just smashing stuff in front of your face. I think I think you're right on that. That's a really good point.
So
I love that you bring up the Jennifer Coolidge subplot because also simp for life. But there's something about that subplot that bugs me so much because every time they talk about how she, it's not spoilers to say that she hit him with the car, right? Yeah,
it's like an ongoing
every time
gag.
they reference it,
Yeah.
right.
That she's a bad driver.
Like it's. Exactly. Well, but every time they reference that she runs over this villager with her car, it's always, oh no, I hit him with my Jeep Grand Cherokee. Oh no, I ran you over with my Jeep Grand Cherokee. And they do it like 4 or 5 times, and then the villager says it. So it's like, does this subplot exist just to add product placement, which is fine, I suppose.
Is it product placement? Because my wife turned to me like literally after that part and is like, this is like the worst product placement for a Jeep Grand Cherokee I've ever seen. So I don't know.
Not the safety.
It could be. It's also, comedy is funny when you get specific. They at least had to get clearance to say a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
That's true.
I'm not sure if it was, but either way, Jeep signed off on that particular thing. So fun.
Maybe Jeep's got a sense of humor. If they do, good for them.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Apple, what is it? I think it's Apple. They have a thing where bad guys aren't allowed to use iPhones because Apple's not allowed to be associated with villainy. So,
speaking of irony,
yeah.
So
and one thing I want to call out, just because I did think it was a really nice touch. There was a very famous YouTuber, Technoblade, who died at like 23 of cancer, and there's a nice little reference to him in the movie. I thought that was cute. It would have been nice if they did something with it because he's like a really great like Minecraft like battler. Like he was one of the best like PvPers in the world or something like that. But it's kind of a disappointment. But it was cute that they did it.
So. Lindsay, to something you were talking about, like the Minecraft game is about creativity. I can't help but think if I were to play something about creativity, I would maybe think of I don't know how similar it would be, but like Roller Coaster Tycoon or Sim City. I don't have that sort of parallel when watching the Minecraft movie where it's like,
Minecraft,
creativity is the like the center of what makes this it. Like Steve is a miner a kid who wants to work on the mine and like
Yearns for it.
that is excuse me, yearns for it. And that's like you get a 45-second here I am, and I bet you're wondering how I got here, and it's not much. But I don't know if creativity is something I would associate with this movie. And considering that it's not very explorational with
No.
creation or anything. Like it's just like, yeah, I'm in this world and there's this table and there's this 9 boxes, which I'm assuming is like what the game has, like the you place the items
you
on
have
it.
an
You have your
crafting
crafting table, and you arrange the things. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, like
I heard you
there's a
say it
reason
too,
why he
Greg. That
introduced
means
it.
you've played it.
Yeah, but he introduces it in that like super Jack Black way, over the top, the
Oh, yeah.
crafting table. Yeah, he's again, everything's kind of like an inside joke, and
Yeah,
they're kind of announcing each part of the game to show it to you, like this is part of it.
yeah, like mixing
So I don't know.
chicken and lava makes a cooked chicken dinner. Like,
It's part of the
sure,
game, man.
but
It's a nod to it.
okay, I understand that, but
Well, ironically, if you throw chicken meat in lava in Minecraft, you will not get a cook. You will just lose your chance. I wonder how many people are going to go and play Minecraft and think they can cook food by throwing it
that
in
is the
lava
only
because of
reason
this
I will play
movie.
Minecraft is to throw a chicken
Gotta
and
make the
lava.
machine though.
So like
Oh, and the songs too. Sorry. Oh no, go ahead, Charles. Go ahead.
I guess my point is, as some just completely oblivious, I don't know, whatever. Going into this movie and thinking, oh, creativity is, like a huge part of this game. I don't, as far as the story is concerned, I don't know if that is like the short summary I would get, like if I wanted to play the game. I don't know what this story did for the game, if not just like an homage to that world, which I don't know. The story's thin.
It is, and it gets worse too, because the story of Minecraft it's actually a really, really sad one. It's basically a post-apocalyptic story. Steve is the last of his race. This race of great builders who once dominated the entire world,
Eugenics.
covered it in all these great things that you find. Say it again.
Eugenics.
Oh, it's just they were just built. Yeah. Oh, no, so those came later. They're different species, actually. No, the whole story of Steve is discovering that this great society once existed, and then it destroyed the world with all the things that it made that it was so proud of. So as you, Steve, are building things in Minecraft, you're ultimately leading to the same thing that led to the fall of the world before. So it's like a cyclical thing about protecting nature and the natural world, and like, yeah, we can make big cool things, but there's a cost that's associated with them. And in the world of Minecraft, piglins, the villain in the movie, are actually victims of those builders. Their world was this kind of peaceful place, and then the builders came along and polluted it and turned it into this hellscape, and then the piglins just fought back against them. So it's this real, like, if you really dive into the lore of it, this movie is an utter bastardization and runs in the face of everything that is Minecraft: the creativity, the story, the themes. But
One
it stars
question.
Jack Black and it's funny, so go ahead, Greg.
Did you have the same passion towards like the Super Mario adaptation? Because that kind of is doing the same type of deal. It's another world. You're just getting transported into it. I don't know. Do you feel like that's a bastardization and it's ruining Mario in the same way, or is this one unique?
I mean, I'd say it's unique because it's so off from what Minecraft could or should be, or it would have been. And I don't know. I'm also not a big fan of Mario. Like, I think it's kind of cute in parts, but I actually really don't like that movie at all. So I'm the wrong person to kind of shine, because I did not like that movie.
Yeah, but you just spoke very emotionally about your idea of what Minecraft means. And the story you just told sounded way more interesting than whatever I just watched. And like,
there's snippets of that in there. Just this is a different Steve, and we don't get to meet that one, but there's still the pig world and the zombies and creepers. There's a lot of elements from it, but yeah, it's not a one-to-one adaptation.
No.
I did feel like you were very passionate about that, Lindsay, but I was wondering if you were as passionate about Mario. I don't remember you coming like, this is a bastardization of what Mario is.
Well, I mean, it just Mario is just such a simple go save the princess story. Like, I, and also I like the '90s movie because, like, because sometimes if you fly in the face of the thing that you're adapting and you make it something completely different, it becomes its own kind of beautiful, weird thing, in my
Ah,
opinion. And so that worked
so I
then,
love
but
that
it
one
didn't
too.
work here. Yeah.
But man, that is such a slap in the face to the original material. Like that has nothing to do with Mario.
Oh,
But we get Mario
it's
Mario. It's perfect.
and Luigi Mario. That's the part that I love. Like a man with two first names is like the most awkward name thing in the world.
Yeah, that's like old school corrupt studio shit where it's just like, I don't know what a video game is. Here's money. Kids will. I think that was after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
Yes, I think it was
Yeah.
right in that wave.
Yeah, studios
It
suck.
was the same era, but yes.
Yeah. Like they're just so cynical. Like, oh, this worked. Here, quick, do the next thing, and I don't care. Kids are dumb. That's essentially what studios think, and
Well, they are. But
Yeah, but also shiny thing, and we're gonna announce it as Jack Black. Like,
it's
come
true.
on.
dude, I don't hate Jack Black that much. I really don't. But between the Santa Claus movie and Minecraft, where it's like Chicken Jockey,
Oh,
him
are
just
you forgetting Borderlands?
Chicken jockey.
like I don't like. Is this thing just saying the thing you're looking at this point? Because
Kind of.
Yeah,
So my
he's that
wife asked me a
charismatic.
question too.
Mhm.
Do you think kids today know Jack Black from
No.
anything? Like, is it just Kung Fu Panda? Because I don't know. Like, Tenacious D hasn't been huge
maybe
for a
School of
while.
Rock, maybe.
Yeah, but even that, I would think like it's older now. Like, would that be necessarily what kids recognize him from or anything? So I don't know. Like, this is kind of it's very weird because he's being almost the most Jack Black he can be. It's like Jack Black to 11. I oddly enough, I hated him a lot less in this than I have in a lot of his recent performances.
It's
So
it's
I
interesting.
don't know, but he is amped up to 11.
He also voiced that that video game about like fucking ancient metal. What the hell was it called? I think EA made it.
Borderlands?
No,
Oh, okay.
it was like if you know anything about like music and old school metal, it was some sort of metal reference. I forgot what the hell it was.
Heavy metal? Like it was like a
That would have been awesome.
It's
I
about 10,
actually didn't
15
even hear
years
about
old,
this thing.
and
It feels like it would have been right up my
for the
alley.
love of Earl,
All right.
EA
Sounds kinda
made it,
sick.
and yeah, it was like a platformer, but damn it,
Nice.
chat
It
help.
sounds awesome.
Yes,
Like, I would have been super into that
Nobody
15
helped
him.
years ago.
Brutal Legend is the name of the game.
Nice.
Oh, that does sound familiar, actually.
So that was fun, and a video game. So maybe you might. I don't know what the connection I'm trying to make here is, but he's been around and he's been in all spaces. Like if you're a gamer, you'll perhaps recognize his voice from Brutal Legend.
Mhm.
Although I'm dating myself rather severely at this point.
Very much so.
15-year-old
For
game.
sure. Well, that's
Honestly, it's
what I mean.
probably
Like, how old?
Jumanji and Kung Fu Panda that people know him from right now. But what were you going to say, Greg?
Just like, how old do you think the target audience is for this film? Because the game that you're
Young.
talking about is like 15 years old. Tenacious D was
Mhm.
like 20 years ago when they were at like the height of their success. I don't know. I think this is kind of what they know Jack Black as, but I don't
But-
know. I could be wrong.
Lindsay, how old were you when you first started? Like, didn't Minecraft come out in like 2010?
Yeah, I was like 2021. But kids love it. Like, I think it's still the most viewed game on like Twitch and YouTube. I could be wrong about that. If I'm my bad if I am, but just little. I guess some parents just like park their kids in front of YouTube playing Minecraft all day, and that's replaced Teletubbies and stuff like that. Like it's pretty huge. Kids go nuts for it. My little brother, he's only like 5 years younger than me, but like a lot of kids in his age, all through middle school and high school, and like younger in elementary school, or maybe not elementary school, probably like high school. It doesn't matter. It was Minecraft was like a big formative thing for them as they grew up and stuff. It's huge. So I think the target demographic for this movie is like little kids, like kind of the same demographic as Snow White, like 4 or 5.
But with
That's why it's all about like emperor, chicken jockey, big guy, and so forth.
that does sound like my cynical view of what, like, any TikTok video. It's just like they peak the volume, like the joke is just doing something loud, and it's like, oh
Yeah, loud noises.
yeah, I
Ah, Jesus.
okay, I guess, like, I'm grandpa
I think
at this point.
Cool.
There's some comedy that isn't that. Like, granted, that is everything that Jack Black is in there, and he's essentially the main part of the comedy. But you get the little characterization things that Jared Hess always like adds into his movies out of nowhere, like the teacher again, Jennifer Coolidge's character. There's a few others that just are strange, and then there's also I would say some tag on jokes like mid credits, and then there is a post credit scene as well.
I did
Yeah.
not stick around for that.
Ooh, you should have.
So there's two
One of the
main
greatest
playable
voices of our
characters.
day.
Well, who was it? I actually didn't know.
Oh, come on, that's Matt Berry. Oh, he's awesome.
Oh, from this side of the pond.
Yeah.
Oh,
One of the
she
greatest
played the
voices ever.
villager. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you
But,
meant the girl at the end. That's funny.
No. Sorry, I was trying to keep that one secret. But
Oh, my bad.
yeah,
My fault.
there's some awesome cameos and some really good jokes, and I think some fun characterization that's added in there. That's kind of the Napoleon Dynamite type of humor.
But
the
is it
Nacho
though?
Libre thing.
Because
To me, it
It's
is.
tots.
Those are
Yeah.
interesting films to me. With each one of them, I have liked them so much less the first time that I saw them, as opposed to, like, I don't know, the 10th time. Like, I really kind of hated Napoleon Dynamite until my wife kind of kept making me watch it, and it's like, man, I love that film now.
lucky.
And
That is love.
there's so many things of it that are just like amazing. So I don't know, and a lot of it is just that weird characterization and like the little bits that I'm pretty sure he adds that has the actors add in that just are these weird, I don't know, character ticks or whatever you want to call it. But I dig it. So I don't know. I got glimpses of that. I think kind of like it also reminds me of Guy Ritchie's live action version of what the hell is that one called? With Jasmine and Aladdin. I guess Aladdin would be the name of that one. So it's it's very straightforward. So you do have the remake of it, but man, you get moments of like these Guy Ritchie-isms in there, and that's what kind of elevates that as far as all of those Disney live action remakes for me. I think this one kind of does that as far as movie adaptations. That being said, it's not a great movie. Like, it's exactly what you think. It's boilerplate. It is like Jumanji, whatever. But man, it's got these little moments that I kind of really dig. Maybe I was just in a mood that I needed to be uplifted, and this did just that for me. So, oh yeah.
One question for the panel: did anyone else notice how many little children, little children pigs died in this movie? Because it was a lot. Like, like I know they're supposed to be evil pigs from hell in this version of the movie, but like those are little kids, man. Like Indiana Jones doesn't go around shooting like little, Nazi kindergartners. Like they kill a lot of children in this movie.
Yeah, but they're pigs. I mean, who doesn't like bacon?
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't know their ages. They could be potbelly ones or miniature pigs. You don't know their breed.
They're just tiny. They're not children. They're just itty bitty. Actually, no, not just because there was that one moment where the main bad guy, she sees one of the pigs just like drawing a little like kid's cartoon picture, and she's like, "Oh, come here!" And he's just like, "Oh, beep, 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 beep," and then she just stabs him, just in cold blood, just murders him right there.
Wasn't that? Well, yes, that's bad. Wasn't that because like the evil,
being too creative.
The evil one? Yeah, she
Being too
didn't.
creative. Yeah.
She was, I don't know, shunned for being
Holy
creative.
Yeah. They also need to set up her little knife for later.
I guess I have a something of a defeating question. If we motivate all these,
Defeat me.
if we motivate all these people to be creative, And yeah, dude, just if you're thinking a thought and you want to create something, do it. At what point can we be honest with people that aren't very good at what they're doing? I'm not saying anything about the movie, but like if we're encouraging the world to be creative, I'm here to say that not everybody is creative and talented. So
For sure.
when do we
Hey,
start being
Brad
honest?
Bird.
What?
Well, there's
You're going
There's a lot of
Ratatouille
one-hit
on us
wonders.
over here.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of one-hit wonders out there,
That's
and
true.
maybe
That's
they
true.
can't recreate it, but you're working on the way to that something amazing, even if it's a flash in the pan, so to speak. But
That's
you
fair.
you know as well as I do. The late great Patrice O'Neill said like a good joke comes from the same place as a bad joke. I think good creativity comes from the same place that bad creativity does too. Like you're not going to get to that good unless you kind of fail many times and you produce crap first. And we have the Minecraft
So
movie.
is it more of a learn your lesson from World
Taking a
War?
timestamp of that, by the way. That's
You're gonna
going in the
clip
short
that?
for this video. You're going to clip that. Yeah, that was a good line, sir.
So is this more of a learn a lesson from World War II, where a shunned
No shit.
painter, who wasn't what like it is it?
I wasn't taking it there, but that is kind of an interesting way to read this movie.
But like that's the first thing I thought.
perhaps.
That's the first thing I thought. Was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like that guy in Germany who wanted to paint and
Well,
decided that.
I mean, I guess that is kind of the main villain in this. Her creativity
Sort of.
was shunned, and so she needed a different outlet, and her outlet was not a positive one. So perhaps I hadn't interpreted it that way, but way
I'm
deeper than I interpreted it. I
I'm a
just
dark
thought,
person.
bad guy, good guy. But fair enough.
And who's darker than
Wait,
old,
what is
old
your-
Addie?
What does your shirt say, by the way, Captain Darkness? Chemist. Aw, it's adorable.
Chemistry helps fight.
Aw.
It's a Breaking Bad shirt.
Oh, I love it.
I like shirts that take two things and just smush them. It's a Charlie Brown as Breaking Bad.
Honestly, I'd watch that crossover.
I would too. Wait. So
Right?
Marcy said, I've played on and off Minecraft a lot of times. It's a fun game, but the graphics for the movie gave me really uncanny valley, creepy or cursed vibes. I would have preferred a more realistic
Oh, yeah.
version. Well,
It was strange. They like kind of split the baby on
was a
that, where they
choice.
kept like really square heads, but like kind of did detailed like hands and stuff for the zombie. It was weird, man. They made some choices on that.
but
And
there's-
those villager faces, like, I'm not going to pretend like they aren't accurate to the games, but like, yeah, again, like, it's like, get my boy a check over here. How are you going to just
Live
steal his
action,
face?
he's
What are you
Charles.
doing?
payable to Charles Patterson, 2 T's. Mm.
God damn, man. Fucking nachos you some money. There's a reference for the audience.
Shit, I forgot where I was going. It's,
Okay, so was there anything that you did enjoy? Like something that you did take away from this movie as that was kind of fun, Charles? Just like, because like, there's little references that I enjoyed. A couple of the jokes weren't too bad. I did like the performances. What about you, Charles? Say one nice thing.
I mean, I kind of alluded to it. If there's parallels
okay.
to old Addie there in Germany, if someone can pick up on that, like, hey, maybe nurture someone's creativity and they won't be such a dick. But
That's fair. Okay.
but like on the flip side, to keep going further with that thought, at what point do you say, yeah, it's great that you're creative, but you just don't have it?
I mean, I think at this point, like it's kind of how you would vote with your dollars. But that being said,
And
I'm
they
pretty sure
voted.
we're getting a franchise
There's
here.
a resounding
because,
yes, please, more, thank you.
good point. I think the only way you do it is how you're doing it now, and on Letterboxd and wherever else you're going to put a review.
Dude, Letterboxd, you know what the number score that has the most votes on Letterboxd is right now?
I have no clue.
5 stars.
Really?
Yes.
That is
So-
surprising. Okay, so I enjoyed it more than you guys, and I would never put it there. I'm thinking like 5.5 out of 10.
Dude.
So I don't even know what I'd do on Letterboxd.
It looks like World Trade won against all the other scores if you look at the graph. I used to think that Letterbox was something of a, I don't know, gatekeepery place for, people would be honest
I thought so.
on
It
their
was harder to
right.
play with those scores.
Yeah, because it was attached to your account. Like, my name is this. I don't think that anymore after looking at all of the 5 stars and like reading some of the reviews on Minecraft where it's like 5 stars. And then like
That's weird,
insert
'cause,
one sentence thing here where it's just like, do I have
Well, on Snow White, it seemed so much more honest than
2.3 I
versus,
think
like,
is the average.
IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, where it's like 1.4 is what I think it was the last time we recorded, or if I'm wrong on that, then it went down to 1.4 just after we recorded.
Yeah, IMDb is a bit more
And that's
harsh.
out of 10 on there. So
Mhm.
I can't think that's accurate. Like, I really didn't like it, but it's just so meh. It's not like the worst film ever.
Yeah.
That being said, I would rather watch Minecraft than Snow White if you force me to watch one of the two again right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I I would I would rather watch Minecraft, but I don't know. I think technically there's more to like the set design and the costume design of Snow White. And like if I'm gonna give out a technically award, I guess it would be to Snow White, but can I just watch something else instead? Can we just
No.
Can I not have those two choices?
No. So let me give one more positive. I feel like every actor knew what they were here to do, and they're
Yes.
giving that same wink to it. It's not like, I don't know, like we kind of brought up Borderlands before. It felt like there's one actress in there who kind of got it, and everybody else was just kind of like limping through that thing. They didn't want to be there, but that, I believe her name is Ariana Greenblatt. She actually seemed like she wanted to be there, and like she was actually enjoying herself and being that character.
Mhm.
In this, everyone was kind of doing that. Like they all knew what kind of movie they're in and what tone they're going for. But Charles is definitely right with like the set designs. You can just tell that everything is on a blue screen, and it doesn't work, and they're not really interacting with actual things. Like it's weird, but it feels like all the actors are on the same page. So I want to give them that little nod. That's my positive. You got any positives, Lindsay?
Well, on Rotten Tomatoes, I've got a funny quote here for the, they always have like that quick little blurb kind of summarizing what the general consensus of the film is.
Mm-hmm.
Ostensibly a film about celebrating creativity. I think, yeah.
I like Charles' spin on it.
Yeah. This movie just keeps stealing from you. Your face, your lines, just like everything, man. You got to start suing some people here.
Just a check. I'm not mad. Just pay me. So Marcy, speaking of pay me, Marcy said, but was I the only one who felt like it was Minecraft movie, but basically Jumanji? And Marcy's referencing the one with The Rock and Jack Black, literally.
Not at all.
The recent.
I think everyone's seen that. Like it feels like it's the most kind of that type of movie you can make it.
Yeah.
But
It's.
Can you think of another adaptation that was kind of a video game adaptation that was a little bit better as far as like sticking to the story? There's a lot of beats that they hit. While Lindsay pointed out, like, yes, they're not doing the thing. It is not Steve at all. It's just a character named Steve. But I don't know. For me, it seemed like way closer than like any of those older adaptations we had, like any of the Resident Evils, any of the like Mortal Kombats, really. Well, I guess recent ones were much more similar, but I don't know. It feels like it's more cohesive as a movie than a lot of those adaptations in the past.
Well, I still say Detective Pikachu is the best video game movie, but I also never played Detective Pikachu, so I have no frame of reference on how accurate that is. I just know Pokemon, and I enjoy movies that are silly, and it was a silly movie about Pokemon, so it kind of worked for me.
I have no reference point for Pokemon. I really enjoyed Detective Pikachu.
Well, I said something stupid. I forgot to add the live action part. Sorry. Frightful Film Friends is totally right. Like, I think you could put that Mario one, and I think you could definitely put any of the Sonic movies above this for sure as adaptations. Sorry, I meant live action video adaptation ones, video game adaptations. It doesn't feel like they do them well. I could be wrong, but I think I enjoyed this more than a lot of those, but maybe I'm on an island.
Yeah. But I mean, like, so, it, I mean, some of the worst movies ever made have been based on video games. House of the Dead,
Bankrupt.
Alone in the Dark.
Creatively bankrupt. Just like, shortcut.
Cre-
Just let's turn this $1 into $1.25.
and you could feel the disdain for the nature of them being in video games sometimes. Like I always get that in the Mila Jovovich Resident Evil movies. I do kind of like those because they're like so freaking weird sometimes. I'm kind of into them in moments, but then
Raccoon
and then
City
the final movie
is
oh yeah, Raccoon City is great.
I
I love
like
Raccoon City.
that, but it still misses. It's like weird. Like, oh, nice. Keep
I
going.
agree. I'm not saying it's great. It's just like, I'm trying to think of what would be better as a live action video game one, and I'm hard pressed. I think somebody mentioned the Raccoon City one, and it's like, yeah, it's really close to the story, but man, it was a weird movie. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if I enjoyed one more than this.
Leon was interesting in that movie. Like it worked, sure. Have him be kind of a bumbling, he doesn't know what he's doing cop. It's his first day, but it was a choice. But for the most part, I don't know. There's just a lot of good tension in that movie. Really, it's really well made.
Dude, the first.
But sorry, the Mila Jovovich ones. You remember in the last movie where they just completely throw all their lore away and they just completely rewrite the last 6 movies?
They shoot it like this, where it's
it's
edited and
it's
just
horrible.
I don't know.
And they do it because they're video games and they don't care and they can just do whatever they want because they don't respect the source material. But
there's a clip. One of my favorite movie review YouTubers is Red Letter Media. There's a clip of them watching like the climax of one of those Mila Jovovich ones where it's just and they're just in tears. It's like the action climax of this movie. Bye, Lindsay.
I'll be right back. I'm just doing something.
There's this action climax. What is happening? Where
I just had to adjust something. I apologize.
Well, why is that?
But go ahead.
What's happening?
What happened?
Is that just me?
Oh, did I ruin everything?
I think we're back now. I don't hear anything.
Is there an
anything.
echo on everyone else's end, or is it just me?
No.
Now, when Lindsay speaks,
I'm not hearing any echo.
Oh, okay. It's not there now.
Am I echoing?
There you were.
Sweet. Maybe a lag or something.
Perhaps.
Good times. Technical difficulties.
I apologize. But I think I know. I think you're talking about the 4th movie, where the dude's like flipping around all over the place, right? And they just can't stop, and it's just the most absurd thing they've ever seen.
Wesker like vanishes, and he's like, it just like stakes just aren't a thing, and it's like a 10-minute clip. If you search Red Letter Media Resident Evil, it's there. They're just in tears during what should be like the climax of a movie, and it's relatively contagious.
Hell yeah.
What did you want to bring up next, Gray?
Sorry. So Joey happens to bring up that it's not a movie, but he thinks The Last of Us is one of the best adaptations that he's ever seen, or at least that's out there as far as most faithful, and then just a decent show. I'm adding that to it as well. But man, I slept on that show. I did not watch any of that till like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, something like that, and just binged the whole thing.
Wow.
I love it. I think that is like my favorite adaptation. I hadn't thought about that game, and damn, it's been a long time since it like first came out.
Yeah, but Bella Ramsey doesn't look like the girl in the game. So
she doesn't, and I'm totally cool with it. Man, it's a very moving show.
Have you seen
So
the game?
I would definitely put that one up as I played that first one. I have not played the second one, but I have seen the game, yes, as you say. But I was going to bring that up next, that that second game is one of the most controversial sequels to anything. So I'm wondering if they're going to stick with as faithful.
It looks like it.
But
it looks like it.
I'm
possibly
for it, but I know a lot of people really hate that turn. But I think you can explain it a little bit better, like a lot of those things.
I think there's a big difference, and maybe you could speak to this, Lindsay, as someone who has a foot in both of the pools. I think
also the Fallout series, need to throw that out there, but go ahead.
Very good. Yes. And I don't know anything about the game, so I enjoyed that, which might be part of the problem that I'm about to bring up with Last of Us. I think the television crowd doesn't care so much about, sticking to, the script or like the blueprint, as it were. Whereas like the gaming audience seems to be like, it's like this in the game, it's got to be like this. If it's not like this, it's not good. Meanwhile, it feels like, I'm not saying this just, that it objectively this is the case, but it feels like a television audience or, a movie audience is like, that was really good. I don't care if it's different. The story was good. That's all that matters to me. Sure, they wear a red shirt in the game, but it adds nothing to the show. Lindsay, is that far-fetched?
I mean, that's a well, I do find it fascinating that the two like actual best like video game adaptations to another are TV series. I do
Mhm.
think that is really interesting with Fallout and The Last of Us.
Well,
And it makes me wonder if it is the nature of TV really letting you kind of like marinate in the world a little bit more as opposed to like quick in and out in 2 hours.
wouldn't it be part of the fact that like games you take 30, 40, 50 hours to finish? And there's
Yeah.
filler doesn't feel like that when you're adapting a 50-hour thing.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
and
as
you know,
they
and
point out,
filler
like
works. Oh, good.
for sure.
Sorry, go
Just
ahead.
as Adrian was pointing out, like with a TV show, you've got like 8 episodes, 1 hour. That's like 8 hours to tell a story versus 1.5 hours. So it just seems like you can get
True.
so much more enmeshed. You can do so much more world building and characterization.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you do it right. But then you can also get
And
Halo.
filler. Oh, go ahead. I had hopes for Halo. That started good, but god darn it, did that face plant into nothingness. Like it's funny, yeah, the best are shows, but also some of the worst are shows because the Resident Evil Netflix series, ooh, outside of Lance Hendrickson, that show is unwatchable.
I was gonna say I love Lance Hendrickson though.
He's so good. He's so good in that show too.
So Lindsay, like you're
R.I.P.
you're kind of proving like the point that when
Maybe.
I don't know, it like Fallout and Last of Us, they're close enough, and they take liberties, but not too far fetched.
Correct.
Where Halo, I never really got into it, but is there something there with what a gaming crowd wants versus what what a movie, a TV crowd is looking for? Like, is it that strict for someone who doesn't have much to go on as far as the game is concerned?
I think you might be right. Like I don't know if the average non-Minecraft or non-parent or whoever's going with a Minecraft person would go to the Minecraft movie. But, a show, if you've got the channel, it's not that hard to, stream it or whatever. I think it is a little bit more for the masses.
True.
So I think there is a little bit more, normies watching it than specifically having to go to the cinema and actually watch the movie.
Plus, it
So I would say, yeah.
it also feels like every time, I mean, granted the YouTube space and the reactionary portion of it is a little hot, a little spicy, but it seems like every time they have an issue with something, normies are like, this is probably the best episode of something I've seen in a while. I can't help but think of episode 3 of The Last of Us, where there was a lot of fuss made about that, but and like it felt like some of the arguments were, well, we don't have much of this in the game, so why are they focusing so much on it? And it's like, yeah, but it was very good. Like, can you name a fault with it? Like, other than we got too much of something we only had a little bit of. I don't know. If you had a bathtub full of ice cream, does that make it bad?
What kind of ice cream? I mean, chocolate chip cookie dough. Are we talking like dairy, non-dairy? Is there sorbet, a little sherbet going on, a little rainbow sherbet? So I think one of the reasons that The Last of Us works so well, and it doesn't have to deal with like that filler that you talked about, is because like I haven't played the games, but what I know of the games, there's a certain episodicness of it. You're going through this world and you get to this area and there's these characters and then there's these characters, and so that kind of works for like a episode, like kind of this episode we're tackling this story, this episode we're tackling this story, and without it feeling like filler, because again, it's a show called The Last of Us, and so it's showing the last few people that are about and like the lives that they lead stuff. And so I think all that kind of really goes together really well. And then with Fallout, that you always have those open-endedness of the games, and they really try and tackle that with the show by having the three main characters, what's her face, what's the zombie's face, and obviously the dog, who is definitely the main character. Well, no, Titus.
The one thing
But
you
anyway,
know its name is the dog.
the dog meat, first of all. No, Titus was the Brotherhood of Steel guy in the big armor.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I think a lot of the trouble that video games have had when it comes to adaptation is the things that they're choosing to adapt and who they're giving those adaptations to. Like, some things work as games and only work as games and shouldn't really be put into other mediums. And I think they've put a lot of the wrong things into other mediums, like Angry Birds,
Dude, there was two
House
of
of the
those.
Dead.
Thank you very
There was
much.
two of those. There was two fucking Angry
How
Bird
much
movies.
how much
Right, like,
content could you stretch Angry Birds into? Answer: 2 films.
Oh,
yeah.
should be a
Yeah,
series.
it should be a series. You want a third one? You want Angry Birds 3, Gray? That's what you're pushing for? The
I mean, a
Revenge of the
TV
Pigs?
series.
A more
Come on,
I
you
want
really gotta
I want more Angry
gotta build
Birds
out the lore.
than Friday the 13th. I want 13 Angry Birds. Hold on. Marcy says, I feel like lately people have really low expectations in the newer movies, and some of them is justified because it's literally trash concepts based on IP, legacy sequels, or remakes. And I'm not trying to be that type of old guy bashing nowadays movies, but compared to older movies, I felt at least they were more creative with their decisions and choices than now. I agree, but I don't think they're willing to gamble anymore. And that, like, the overarching theme of what we've been talking about for years now is stop spending so much. If you spend $50 million instead of 200, if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hurt as bad. Think of the 80s and all of these, like Back to the Future. That movie's incredible, and it spawned sequels, but that wouldn't get greenlit today. Inception, my favorite movie ever. The reason we got Inception was because Warner was like, Mr. Nolan, please stay and make this Batman sequel. And he was like, yeah, I will, but I want my passion project. Like, we got 2 brilliant movies because Warner was just like, we need more. So, like, they need to have some sort of trust in something and stop being so cynical and being like, this is at the top of what people are like. It's like the Morbius effect. Like, it's being talked about on Twitter. Let's re-release it. And it's like, you don't understand why it has the attention it does. It, like, not everything is make it a movie.
Well, I mean, isn't this gonna really make it that though? Like,
Yes.
Isn't this gonna be every single IP out there?
Yes.
Hey, you might just make the largest whatever of that. I don't know. Just, I never would have thought the highest grossing video game adaptation opening would be the Minecraft movie, especially when we talked about the box office this whole first quarter, and then everything has just been kind of a disappointment this year. It totally got me off guard. I wouldn't have thought it would be this big, but I guess they did also have the 5-minute Superman sneak peek that was added to it too. So those numbers might be a little bit inflated because of that.
How much do you
people go and watch the Superman thing, leave?
that happened? I forget which.
Star Wars.
Yeah, the episode 3 teaser was in front of something else, and people. I worked at the theater for that. People showed up, watched the trailer, and left. And that movie had like something of a bump, like, I don't know, $5-10 million, but it had a bump because people showed up just to watch the trailer back when the internet wasn't as free flowing as it is now. But I don't know if Minecraft had some sort of $25-30 million push just for people to go see Superman.
135 million was their push for people to go see Superman. I just love the idea of people just like en masse leaving the theater once that trailer ends. That's really funny to me.
Yeah, I have no information to back that up on. I just heard that factor as well. It's like, that probably is a factor. I don't know how much of one.
Yeah. Yeah. I I I don't this the fact that Minecraft does 157 in 3 days is not good, because Minecraft only exists because Super Mario Brothers did so well.
Right.
And
But
who
also things like Barbie and Lego that contributed to probably.
who distributed both Barbie and Minecraft? Fucking Warner
Me.
Brothers.
Oh.
Just saying, it's keeping them going, man. They're still afloat.
And Zaslav gets bailed out again.
Yeah.
So what IP do you think is going next? This had to
Kool-Aid.
lead to like, I can't wait. But I don't know. Like, there had to be like a bidding or a war to find out, like, okay, what IPs in video games are out there? What can we have access to? What can we option? Man, I think this is going to lead to a lot more, which is
Of course it is.
interesting.
Of course it is. And
Well, you got to chase that wave.
why is it throw $150 million at something hoping to make $500 million instead of throw $20 million at something and hope to make 50? Like, why is that such a far-fetched thing now? Especially with the like $9 billion is such a fucking a wish at this point for domestic box office, which if you said that in 2019, you'd be like, what happened? But since COVID, $9 billion total domestic is just not happening. So why are they dumping more money?
I think some things are responding correctly, just not very fast. Like, did you guys hear about the Mandalorian and Grogu announcement? I think they're only spending 160 million on it,
Only.
which is going to make it the cheapest Star Wars movie since Revenge of the Sith.
Oh my God.
So
You could do something with that, though.
Yeah, but little baby steps.
Literally.
Little
Grogu steps.
Little baby steps. I'll take it, especially because the last couple of Star Wars things have all been extremely bad and overly costed, and I don't know.
I do think that some of this, I wish
Actually, Skeleton Crew was the most recent Star Wars thing. I take that back. I like Skeleton Crew.
as do I.
Yeah.
I do think that if Doge were to go to Hollywood, I think we'd find some interesting things out, because I'm sure things like the Electric State and things like that, these $300 million budgets, I would hazard a guess that there's some inflated reports there where, the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 producers that you only need 2 or 3, 4 that are cashing checks. I would hazard a guess that a lot of the money that's going into these budgets isn't being put on the screen.
I would believe that. I think I've told this story on here before. Harry Potter 5 was when Harry, Ron, and Hermione, those are the actors' names, don't at me, were supposed to start getting a whole bunch of back-end stuff. Like a lot of back-end stuff.
Heiny.
Like
I like the
a
Heiny.
lot of okay, get out of here. Get out of here. Dirty man. They were still children.
Less so.
Do we have to bring back your old nickname, sir?
Which I might be able to use it again, because Sam is the new word, so I might be able to have my nickname back. Sorry, go ahead.
Confetti. No, but so Harry Potter 5, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, I finally remembered their names, we're going to start making a lot more money. But suddenly also Harry Potter 5, it's like, oh no, sorry, we spent too much on craft services. We actually lost $100 million on this $1 billion movie. It's like, excuse me? But
yeah,
Hollywood is notorious for,
and it's
Hollywood bookkeeping.
It's funny because, Lindsay, isn't it mostly said that unless you're getting like an executive producer credit, you don't take back end points? As an
I've
actor.
heard mixed things on that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Because the one thing that I always have heard about, you should have taken the back end deal, was Kate Winslet for Titanic. And
Yep.
she didn't want, to gamble on a boat movie. And apparently it cost her millions. So, like, it seems like they...
Well, the same
Apparently.
thing happened with Matt Damon, by the way. Do you know that story?
No.
He was offered 10% of the entire gross of Avatar. Oh, well, that's right. My laptop's not plugged in. I'll fix that in a minute. Matt Damon was offered 10% of the entire gross of Avatar, but he turned it down because he was shooting one of the Bourne movies. That would have been a $220 million payday for him to have starred in Avatar.
We only hear about it when it doesn't happen. Is what I was getting at. Like, oh, interesting. That.
Oh, sorry.
Do you have a story where someone actually cashed in and you pay them $200-something million? Scarlett Johansson comes to mind with whatever. Oh, Disney again. Interesting. With whatever that contract dispute was about. I think it had to do with like COVID and the movie not going to theaters, but there was something in her contract that like it has to go to theaters, which. I mean,
well, like a massive thing of her paycheck was based on the theater residuals and stuff, and so when it did day and day, it kind of, but she got her money in the end, so good for her.
It's like, how often do you prepare for a century's plague that like? I think if Disney were to be like real dicks, which I mean they certainly have shown they can be. They would just release it to theaters and be like, yeah, no one's going. So best of luck. Like there weren't theaters open at that time. Like they could have been assholes.
But then there were. I did watch Black Widow in theaters. Huzzah.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, you do.
Marcy, off topic. One of my hot takes is that Christopher Nolan is overrated. Even though I still like most of his movies, I feel like his style doesn't say much to me. I'm more of a fan of Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie is flashy.
I like them both, but I do hear where he's coming from. I think Nolan is huffing his own farts.
Behind his own
supply.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you talking or are you just mouthing?
High on his own supply?
I think you're muted.
Am I?
No,
or am I muted?
You're drunk.
I think you're muted.
you're cuckoo town.
Wait, Gray? Wait. So can everyone hear me, but I can't hear anyone?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know what you said. I'm so confused.
You could hear us now?
I like how we're actually kind of having a conversation, though.
Wait, you knew I said what is wrong with you?
One second.
Okay, bye. What was he saying? That just I'm lost now. Greg, and can you not hear me? What's happening?
I can. My dog just started barking, so I muted myself. I apologize about that.
Fucking 5-alarm fire.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. He was talking about the difference between Guy Ritchie and Nolan, but he was saying he could kind of see that Nolan was possibly. What did I say? I can't remember.
Huffing his own farts is what he said.
Yeah, but I remember you saying high on his own supply.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Like Nolan seems to be doing his own thing, where Guy Ritchie, I don't know. Fair enough. It is his own thing as well, but it seems to be he keeps going back to that thing. Where I've seen Nolan expand so much more than I have seen Guy Ritchie. But I love Guy Ritchie for what he does.
Right. I like a bowl of cornflakes as much as I like a bowl full of Lucky Charms. They're certainly doing very different things for me, but it's funny. It seems like whenever like friends who want to talk about movies and they're like old, I'll go back and watch it, and we have a mutual that has brought films to my attention, and I went back and rewatched The Prestige, and
nice.
I actually like it more now. Or it's really? Just like I go back and watch these things and I'm like, wait a minute. Not only do I not agree with you, but I actually disagree with myself from 5 months ago.
I gotta rewatch that one. It came out like the same time as The Illusionist, and I always kind of mistook both of them. I
Yeah,
don't think
'cause
I gave either of them a
'cause
real shot.
isn't Nikola Tesla in both of them too?
I want to say
Whoa,
yes.
what? No, that's hilarious.
No?
Also, yes, I can hear you guys now.
We can't see
No,
you
he
though.
was. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh,
You're a disembodied voice, but it's kind of cool. It's like we got corrected from above.
Yeah, we can
can
hear
you
you
hear me
though.
now? Can you see me now?
We can hear you. We can't see you.
Okay, what's going on here? What are we doing here, you silly facing gooses?
And Marcy says, I'm actually excited for the new Naked Gun movie. Also, I cracked up with the OJ joke in the teaser.
I don't
That was a
know.
good
I'm
trailer.
conflicted. I thought it was a good trailer, but I'm just, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure if everyone's ready for parody humor or what you want to call like spoof humor. We'll see.
I don't, yeah. No. No.
No.
On that trailer alone, I
Definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trailer alone doesn't have me, but
No.
it's like okay, maybe they understand the type of humor, but we'll see. That it was like a joke. It was a visual joke overload, and I'm not sure that they quite captured that with the trailer. So I want to see it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Liam Neeson. That has to be a joke that they have Liam Neeson in the role that Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, it's got to be a thing.
Like,
I'm sure they'll bring it up. But I don't know. Like he can play the straight man quite well, and that's what you're supposed to do as a Frank Drebin type. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm not convinced.
yeah,
I'm a little bit more excited for The Running Man. I saw a little something on that, and it looks pretty awesome.
So this is kind of. Go ahead, Lizzie.
I was gonna say Glenn Powell and what's his name who directed the
Edgar Wright.
Hot Fuzz and stuff like that. Edgar Wright. Yeah, I mean I'm super down. Am I still disembodied, by the way?
Yes, but it's kind of charming in a way. It's like you're just in one of the seats behind us.
Wait, hold on.
I'm a ghost. Ooh, don't fix it. I'm a ghost. Ooh.
Okay, so hold on. We kind of brought it up earlier, Lindsay. I'm going to try to fix you, but it this kind of goes back to shit. Fuck. This goes back to what we were talking about with Minecraft. Is it ironic humor? Is it meta humor? Is it both? Is it neither?
Yes, and it seems to be meta humor, but at the same time they're trying for like other comedy, and they are doing that Jared Hess like awkward comedy as well. It's kind of everything thrown at it, and trying to see what'll stick. Hey, we got a Lindsay back.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I did it.
I was just looking at the writing credits, and there's
all 15 of them?
8 writers listed. Story by 3 of them, and then there's 5 additional writers that the screenplay by. So it feels like there's everything kind of thrown at the wall.
And nothing at the same time.
Yeah.
That is not a 9-person project.
It's movie by committee, so, it's going to be a lot of nothing. A lot of art does not come from committee.
I've never heard of any of these people. Not that I know every writer in Hollywood by any stretch of the imagination, but like 9 names and not one of them looks familiar is a little.
But
it's a little much.
But isn't something when it comes to like humor? Couldn't it be one of those things like it is whatever you want it to be? Like people who are like genuinely finding this humorous, whereas people are like ironically finding it humorous and like.
I'm definitely laughing at it as much as with it in this thing. Did you not find any of it funny to laugh at the movie, if not with it? Like, did you find nothing humorous in it at all?
Dude, I have a black hole where my happiness used to be. I don't.
So I was a bit punchy. I don't know. I had a really bad weekend. It was kind of a black hole as well. So maybe I just needed something to kind of brighten my spirits this morning. But what can I say? It put me in a happy place where I did not anticipate that. I thought it was going to be just as bad as, say, like Snow White or whatever, which was pretty meh. I was expecting nothing from this, and I got a little something.
Yeah, well, I mean, Snow White to an adult without a little girl or children, like that. I mean, I was watching it like, why am I watching this? What the fuck is wrong with
Yeah.
me?
I mean, I liked the original. I had some nostalgia for it, but
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough. I didn't really have a reason to watch it. If it wasn't for this show, I would have skipped
So,
both of these movies, to tell you the truth.
Mr. Student of Comedy, is there any damage that can be done to humor outright with a piece of media that is like appreciated from both ends, like ironically and like wholesale? Like it
I don't think so. I mean, like, do you think well, it sucks because The Room was never anticipated or never planned
well,
on being what it became. But I think like it gets this second life. But with this, you're getting people that appreciate it on one level, and then you get whole other people who are laughing at it instead of with it. I don't know. I feel like I did a fair share of it. To me, it doesn't feel like it ruins it, but I don't know. I really needed something funny, something a little bit more up than reality right now. So I don't know.
Definitely,
It
man.
could just be me.
Uh-huh.
You guys,
but
no, yeah, everything's horrible. But yeah,
Cool.
you guys seem like you didn't enjoy it nearly as much. Do you think this set comedy back?
But hold on to the thing you said about The Room. The part of the problem with The Room was Tommy Wiseau did not make that as a comedy. And once
Yeah.
like he tried to lean into it, he has not done anything remotely close to that when he's trying to do comedy. So
For sure.
like I think that's part of it where like tell me what your intent was with this. And then like I'll be able to judge whether or not this was a success because I think with like memedom, the intent and what it becomes don't always match. And The Room is a very good, point of comparison for that. Did we lose Lindsay?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, sorry, I just got distracted for a second.
do you need to
so-
go?
No. So I do have concerns about this in regards to the state of comedy, actually, because something that I've been seeing for years, and we have talked about it on the show with you guys and other people, and other things and other mediums, but we really need to get back to comedies with scripts. I love improv. I have done more improv than any other form of acting, and it's so far off the other forms will never catch up. I adore improv. There is a time and a place for it. And there are movies that have incredible improvisation in them. Iron Man was like, I think 40% improvised because they just didn't have a finished script. So like entire sequences were just made up on the day and they just rolled with it. And there's so many quotable lines in that movie specifically because of that. And it set the entire
an
tone for
aberration.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Exception,
So
not the
I'm
rule.
saying it works. It
I mean,
totally
for
works.
every one of those, you get like a Ghostbusters 2016 where it's also
Yes.
mostly improvised, but it doesn't
Yes.
feel like it's got the pacing that it needs. It doesn't match up to the snappiness of the original or even the
Yeah.
sequel. It just feels like scenes are going on too long. So I don't know.
And I
I
have that
agree with you.
This movie had those vibes. Am I crazy? Like, there are those scenes where like Jason Momoa and like Jack Black would just start just like saying words at each other that don't matter, and the movie's just kind of treading water as they do it. And it's like I hate that crap.
I'm not sure.
Do they want me to
That could be
fight
the
the
result of
chicken?
9 writers.
Do they want me
Oh.
to fight the chicken jockey? 9 people to write
Yeah.
that? Do they want me to
Well-
fight the chicken jockey?
But the thing
Yes.
is, I don't see either of their names in those 9 for the writers. So I don't know if they did improvise that or if that is like essentially a scripted comedy. I'm not sure, but you're right. It does feel like they were putting themselves into those scenes, and it was very. It seems like they're reacting to nothing around them. But sorry, Charles, I interrupted you. Like
No,
3 times.
not really. I'm more clarifying. Was this a thing from the game? I did remember something that I laughed at, and it was just the description of something. A bucket nunchuck. What he called it was buck chuckets, or did I? Is that from the game, or like?
No.
See, that was- that
buckets
is-
are very important. Buckets are
That
one
was
of
from
the
the
most
Pump Chuck
important
guy.
tools of Minecraft.
Yeah, buck
But
chuckets.
buck chuckets.
I was like,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes.
funny.
Okay, you have me here. This little thing here I did chuckle, and I was angry at myself for doing it too. But there was your moment of light, Gray. I just remembered it. 9 people to write Buck Chuckets or whatever the hell it was called.
I feel like that line was improvised on the day too. Jason Momoa's like, "Oh no, they're buck chucking."
Perhaps he's just that good of an actor that you believe it's up, but don't. It's hard to say with 9 writers. So I don't know. Well, you're right though. This doesn't feel like a scripted comedy, but that's kind of how Jared Hess's films feel. Like, I don't
That's
know.
But he's had a lot of
Napoleon Dynamite
misses.
doesn't feel scripted to me, but yes, he has a ton of misses in his arsenal. But he's got some real hits that I don't think he gets enough credit for. Like, he did a few episodes of Son of Zorn and Last Man on Earth. That one was I enjoyed both of those. So fair enough.
Mark?
Napoleon Dynamite's a classic. I don't know if it's good. I haven't watched it in double-digit number of years, but it was a thing when it came out. Like,
It's a movie that, like, there's some form of discomfort. Like, there's that, like,
Mhm.
I don't know, cringe
Mhm.
element to the humor where it's just like, oh, like the fact that, like, you need to, like, linger on the shot to, like, just get that mood, that feeling like, ooh, I'm laughing at just how uncomfortable I am or how weird this is. Like, that's what's funny. Like, I don't know if a studio head could be like, yeah, make this Paul Thomas Anderson thing. Like, here, I need to mass produce whatever it is that is charming about this. Like, you can't. There's something about that like, to know how long to linger on a shot, how to have that weird energy. Like, Napoleon Dynamite. I don't know if it's a 1-for-1, but Dinner in America is like Napoleon Dynamite's like R-rated in-universe cousin. Well, not in-universe, but as far as I'm concerned,
It does have that kind of quirky
It does.
feel and kind of that awkwardness as well. Yeah, I think I like that one more. But
I agree.
man,
Yeah,
it's slightly different type of humor though, for sure.
yeah. Kyle Gallner yelling back and forth with a diner guy. Just get the coffee. Like it's nothing, but like they're back and forth. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, this guy's a pain in the ass because the diner owner knows him, and I don't know, like, I don't know. There's something to weird humor, and I don't think you could like just. I don't think there's like this formula for doing it. Like, you need to know like how long do I let this sit?
And that's what's so weird about pairing him with this completely formulaic
Yes.
like, comedy movie, because I'm getting hints of him, but yeah, then it's just so formulaic, and so exactly paint by numbers how this is going to go, how
Yeah.
it's going to resolve.
You have like
That this character who met their peril, did they really? It's just I don't know. There's so many beats that you just know are going to be there, and then you know exactly where it's going to end.
it is this weird amalgamation. Like, you have a pink alpaca, you have a pink house, and then you have Jack Black there just saying pink house, and it's just like, yeah, I know. Like, is that what the joke is? Like, why is Jack Black just there like thing? Here's a thing.
But he's kind of redoing Nacho Libre, which was another Jared Hess film. I don't know. Like, there are parts of this that do feel very much like one of his films, and then there's so many formulaic parts to it. It's an odd amalgamation. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder how much control he kind of had over this thing that had like 9 different writers on it.
I also wonder, like, I have a feeling this movie was really butchered in the editing bay. Like the landlord lady who like is there, who's got like she has all the gig. Her thing is like she has like 1,000 jobs, but like the fact that she has 1,000 jobs is never like comes up in the plot. She's just the 4th person that's in the Minecraft world with them. Like, why is she there?
Oh, the one
Where
who
is she
And she's a
contribute?
part-time zookeeper.
Yeah.
Like you would just assume that that's coming up, that's not just a character
Right.
quirk. But
well,
who knows what happened to the
No.
payoff?
didn't she know like
Yeah.
that the llama doesn't know what there's like that? I thought that was for a joke because she's like, he doesn't know what you're saying because
Yes. But that's the only payoff that we have for that, just the fact that she owns a llama. Like, she knows.
Yeah.
Okay. I just would have thought there'd be more of a
Oh.
payoff. but
dude,
I agree. We were wrong. Charles is right.
Why do I not know that tater tots pizza is a thing?
You know what's really funny is when I didn't know this was directed by the Napoleon Dynamite guy. So when the Tater Tots Pizza thing came up, yeah, exactly. I'm just like, okay, so we're just making Napoleon Dynamite references. I mean, that's cool. It's like it's a little dated, but then I realized it's the director. I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
Hey, remember when I didn't need
sense.
money to be cool? Marcy says, I think this year seems awesome for action movie geeks like me. Nobody 2 is my most anticipated movie this year. Nobody 2, huh?
I'm excited for that.
I mean, I am excited for that one, but in just like a week and a half, we've got Sinners, which could be cool. It's
Also
kind of
looks good.
horror meets action meets crime thing. I'm kind of thinking Dusk Till Dawn. I hope it's going to be good, but we'll see. And then there's kind of more ones sprinkled all throughout the year. So I don't think Marcy's wrong on the action.
Well,
year.
so
An Avatar later this year, right?
go
That'll be
fuck
something.
yourself, you
Oh, yeah.
dick.
Can't wait for that one.
I mean, if Novocaine is any indicator, that was supposed to be an interesting something and failed.
Forgetting about Flight Plan or whatever.
A Flight Risk.
A Flight Risk,
Yeah.
thank you. I even forgot the title of that one.
Yeah, it's not looking good so
There
far.
are there's some interesting ones. Who knows about Final Destination 28 years later? You know, they're all kind of action near
Adjacent,
The Bride.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's some fun ones coming up. We'll see. I anticipate those will be a lot better than the comedy this year, but we'll see.
I'm super hyped for 28 Years Later, by the way. Like that was my favorite trailer of last year, and I love the first 2 movies. I'm so down.
Lindsay, sticking to the horror category, and I guess we've talked an hour and a half about generic Minecrafty just comedy shit. I have a serious topic to bring up, but you saw something else that was new that is also horror? Question mark?
It was horror adjacent, but yes, a great segue to I saw Screamboat this week, and sadly I couldn't get into the screenings with the directors. I tried; they were sold out. But I did get into a regular screening, and for those that don't know, Screamboat is the newest. Hey, that thing from 100 years ago is now in the public domain. Let's make a horror movie version of it. We've seen it with Winnie the Pooh. We've seen it with Steamboat Willie already once. We're about to see it with Bambi. And what was so
Forget about
going into
Charles's
this?
favorite.
Go ahead.
Do you know who is Steamboat Willie in this?
I do. I did not when I started watching the movie, but after I watched the movie, I did learn. So what's very interesting about this movie is
It's the guy from
made by
Terrifier. For those who don't, sorry. In case
So it's produced by the Terrifier people and people that have made something like a Grinch kind of thing. That sounds interesting. I'm kind of curious about now. And the guy who plays Steamboat Willie in this is none other than Art the Clown, David Horton, or what's his name? David Thorne or
David Thornton Howard? David Howard Thornton?
David Thornton Howard. That's it. Yeah.
I have dyslexia.
So a great, classic trained clown actor type man playing Steamboat Willie in this, who's going on a murder spree on a boat, the New York ferry or the Jersey ferry. Which is it, Charles? Does
Staten
it matter?
Island, you dick.
Staten Island ferry. Thank you. It's the Staten Island ferry in New York. And one thing that's interesting about the movie is David Howard Horton. God, I'm gonna get his name wrong. Art the Clown. He's who's playing. Go ahead.
No, I'm just. It's on screen. Thank you, Dice. David Howard Thornton.
David Howard Thornton, thank you. I can't see that, but David Howard Thornton. I will try my best to remember it. They shrunk him down to try and play the size appropriate Steamboat Willie. And so that makes this movie very ambitious because it's actually trying something stupid and silly and weird with this premise instead of just, having people get killed mindlessly. And some of the kills were actually pretty good. The first big one actually made me laugh pretty hard. No spoilers, but it's very funny. But that level of ambition is the best and worst thing this movie has going for it. Because while it's really cool, and Dave is just throwing himself into it full body, he's not holding back. He's doing his full Art the Clown thing with this, and it's really great. But the budget and the time weren't really there, so the effects look so bad in places that it actually does ruin in several sequences. And this movie is also 3 minutes long. It could have been 80, it could have been 83 minutes, and it would have been so much better because like when this movie works, it is firing on all cylinders of just insane just like this is approach for what they're doing, but also it's aware of how stupid and insane it is. So that makes it kind of fun, and you go along with it to a point, and that point is always when the special effects stop looking good. And man, do they. Like there's entire moments where like, Dave is like he's trying to run to be like scary to catch up with someone, and you can just tell that they shrunk him down, and he's like just like waggling his legs in like thin air. Someone's like sliding him across the screen with a mouse. But that's also kind of charming in its own way. I don't know. I don't like this movie, but I kind of want other people to see it. It's a weird experience. It is definitely the best of whatever this subgenre of horror is, and it's the only one that I'd ever watch again. But I don't like that I liked it, but I did like it. If that makes sense. That's my spiel.
I think Cody has a
Convinced me to watch it.
Cody has a very similar. I don't like that I like this, but I like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, David Howard Thornton is a very talented. Like as far as
Yes.
comedic, like knowing how to sell shit without saying a word, he's very good at that. Not like typical Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, quiet, like they're essentially stunt guys who just are, other than the big horror films that you see them in, they're just stunt guys. David Howard Thornton, he's talented.
Yeah.
So like
He's a clown, right? Like he's a professional clown or something like that. Did I make that up?
I don't know. I know he's.
I mean, he's definitely gone pro after the trilogy.
Yeah.
It's true.
I don't know if this is true, but Marcy might have single-handedly got us to the goal. And with this super chat, I can't see it on my end because the goal. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. 10 out of 10. Marcy, right on. Here is the joke and the super chat from Marcy. A man is going down on his woman. The man says, Jesus Christ, it smells like shit down here. The woman replies, I have arthritis. In your hoo-ha? No, in my arm. I can't wipe my ass. That's it.
Interesting.
Why would it?
That will
Hey.
explain it.
I have questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feels like there's other solutions.
Yeah, but
the Japanese have kind of an amazing device that seems to be very standard that I think would alleviate.
I believe the
problem.
French have that too.
That wouldn't make it funnier. Yeah, I think so too. I think it might be a French word, but Japanese perfected it.
Well, the Japanese perfect everything. Let's be honest.
Bidet?
That's the one.
But thank you, Marcy, very much for the super
Yes.
chats, man. Seriously, appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, I think the goal was rankings, so we'll figure it out. I think I'm going to
awesome.
cherry pick what it is we're going to get tortured with because, Gray, you keep your mouth shut. Last time we paid dearly for it, so we'll figure out what you guys can vote on. So at least we know just how much trouble we're in. But yeah, Marcy, right on. Thank you for that. And yes, executive producer is probably, I saw it. Where'd it go? Yes, executive producer reserved for the ranking. So are you good on time, gentlemen? Because there's the thumbnail topic that we can get to now, but I don't know if we have time.
No, that's just clickbait. We're not going to actually talk about that. We just want people to come in, and then once they're here, they're just they've committed so much time they can't click away. I'm good. How you doing, Greg?
Yeah, good, real good.
Okay, so there's
Time for the fun stuff.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of news, and I can't help but be aware of it, have it suggested in my feed. And think that a lot of the outrage in the film community, not all of the film community, but a lot of things that people throw a hissy fit about are somewhat manufactured. Like Rachel Zegler not officially, but the narrative at this point is Snow White is, as you can see, what now, fifth,
Eesh, eesh.
fourth is fourth for the weekend, and the narrative is that Rachel Zegler is the reason Snow White failed. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think she's definitely a factor, and she's one of the reasons why a lot of people are deciding not to go to it, but
Sure.
it can't be everyone. I think
Hmm.
word of mouth is the main thing on this. Like, it's the lowest ranking Disney thing, and I want to say ever. I think it's number
Yeah.
4 on IMDb, as Lindsay corrected me
Cool.
last week. That's pretty low, man.
But-
That would prevent me from wanting to see it.
But isn't that part of the problem? Because there's people that are ranking it like 1 star just because,
Oh.
I saw Rachel Zegler said this thing this one time, so shit on this movie. I have no idea if it's good or not, but I just know I don't like her.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I mean,
happens.
sadly, I think that's
Yeah.
kind of the society that we're living in right now. People get these knee-jerk reactions, and without seeing it, just form these very strong opinions. I don't know. I would have thought that people would have been like that to the Minecraft movie, but a Minecraft movie is doing completely different.
It has
somehow.
already either broken even or is in the green. The budget was 150. It made 157 in America alone. So
Wow.
I think it broke even. Like if they pull it tomorrow, I think it broke even. But
Yeah.
the other thing is all this week, there's a movie that's coming out that I think is important for context. But the new person getting all of the, dare I say, clickbait titles for the week is John Boyega. And I wanted to get the actual piece of footage for for context, and I'd like to discuss this and be as open to all ends of the interpretation as possible, because I don't know. I posted like the quote on my community tab, and some of the comments that I saw, from people that like I know, like I've had conversations with some of these people, and it's just like, oh, that's what you got from that. Okay. So I'm going to play this. It's just under 25 seconds. This is John Boyega. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but I think you have it for reference.
For sure.
John Boyega for an upcoming documentary film.
Let me tell you, Star Wars always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. Like, this franchise is so white that it's like a black person existing in that was something. And you can always tell it's something when some Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian and had Samuel L. Jackson. It's like telling me how many cookie chips are on the cookie dough. I'm like, bro, they just scattered that in there, bro. They're okay with us playing the best friend, but once we touch their heroes, once we lead, once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my God, it's just a bit too much. They're pandering.
So, I when you consider the fact that this is for a film titled #1 on the call sheet for black actors, does that change the delivery of this information at all? And plus, we don't know what leads into that. We don't know what's said after that. Like, this is a movie that, although Gray, have you?
I was going to say, I just watched it. So it actually came out 1 week ago. I think it was like March 27th or something like that. It came out to Apple Plus TV or
Okay.
Apple, whatever.
Nobody
the
has
Apple
that.
streaming network. Yeah. Or Apple TV. I don't know why I keep adding the plus in there. Everything's got to be plus now.
Sure.
It can be great.
The commercials are without
But
the
yeah,
plus.
it's a really powerful documentary. I only watched part 1. It's a 2-part thing. The first part is black actors, and then the second one is black female actors.
So you're
and
sexist.
Yes, very much so. Now, there's only so many hours in the day. I watched that one this morning.
I was kidding.
Same thing with
I was
Minecraft
kidding.
movie. I'm fighting the accusation. But it's a really powerful movie. To me, it meant a whole lot. So it's, I think his production company is Foxhole Production, but it's a Jamie Foxx thing.
Okay.
So he got like everyone together. He got Denzel talking about Sidney Poitier. They're using all these famous clips and just man, it really kind of tells the story of, just how hard it was to kind of get some sort of representation and be the first one on the call sheet. That means so much to actually be leading a picture. And it was a long way to actually get there. And yeah, they happened to bring up John Boyega, who, each actor is kind of telling their experience and what they kind of went through in Hollywood. So he brings up a lot of those points. And man, I've been on a few podcasts this week, and they do not seem to be digging what he's saying at all. They're taking it as an attack that he's just calling Star Wars fans racist, and they were standing up for him. So how could he be doing this now? How could he have gotten it so right a few years ago when he was attacking Disney, but now he's attacking the fans? I do not see this as an attack on the fans.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember the kind of fan reaction to a lot of this shit, and it did seem like a lot of people were saying, "Hey, but we've had Lando." It's like, yeah. If you can point to Lando, Samuel L. Jackson, and I'm trying to think who the third name that they would bring up. I guess you'd go
That's
James
a
Earl
Chewbacca
Jones's
from
voice.
yeah, him too.
Fair
In Star
enough.
Wars Episode 1,
Samuel
there was
Jackson.
one royal guard. Yeah.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Samuel Jackson. Yeah.
there is a point that they're making that this is a very diverse galaxy, but there isn't a lot of representation for black actors. And the fact that you can name like 3 of them, it's like you're pointing out on a cookie, like, hey, you can see those 3 chocolate chips. I understand what he's saying. I don't think that makes it the best type of I don't know, cookie it could be, so to speak. But
Right. That
out
was
of any character in that new franchise, new trilogy, man, I think his character got really decimated the worst. I was really looking forward to seeing something cool from Finn, and I think that was what he was promised. He had a really bad experience with it.
Yeah, I'll try to. While I don't completely agree with some of the things I will be saying, I will try my best to adopt some of the Star Wars fandom, their feelings on this, and just so that we can not be so one-sided about this, just to see if I don't know if there's something there, because I've heard some variation of that too, that he was right when he was calling out Disney, but why would he say this about fans? And the thing that I keep going back to, the chocolate chip cookie thing, I don't know. It's not the greatest, but I understand if you were either him or Kelly Marie Tran during that insert 2014 through now still, I don't know. I can't possibly imagine what it must be like to be a presence on social media and just see some of the worst of the worst. My issue with he was right to call out Disney, but now he's turning on the fans. He did say some fans. My question is, are you saying that no Star Wars fans are racist and they have not experienced that? Because if that's what you're saying, I think you really need to do more homework. But if you're that quick to blame Disney for, they really screwed him over in China, I agree. And he has there's an article that we can post. Vanity Fair posted it at like years ago, or 2020. I can link it in the chat. But he said how frustrated he was. As fans, if you can acknowledge that Disney was wrong, then shouldn't you be able to acknowledge and voice that fans that are giving these actors a hard time are equally as wrong?
I would think so. And it feels like a lot of people are attacking him for this too,
Yeah.
and saying like he's a failed actor, and it's like, oh, that's shitty. So first off, how many actors are able to go from kind of an iconic role and to then have other things? Granted, I haven't seen everything. I didn't see Naked Singularity, but
Detroit was
Breaking
great.
So that was a while ago, for sure. And I loved him in Attack the Block.
Mhm.
But like since Star Wars, he's in a like 4 major movies, I guess. Naked Singularity, Breaking, The Woman King, and They Clone Tyrone. And I dig They Clone Tyrone. There's things about Woman King that are interesting, and I thought Breaking was awesome. If I remember right, that's one of now I'm forgetting his name, but he's an awesome actor who, unfortunately, I think it's one of his last ones. Michael K. Williams. I love that dude.
Mm.
But yeah, that's an interesting movie. So I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of hate going both ways in this, where
Mhm.
I don't necessarily think that he was saying like the fans are all racist. It's, hey, there are people who have been either, straight up racist, which he's definitely dealt with, and then there's also people just saying like, but it is diverse enough. Here's these three people that I can name. I don't know. To me, that it sounds very logical. That is what I heard at the time. Like people would always bring up Lando and Mace, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but is it really such a diverse world? And it feels like it's gotten way more diverse since Disney had their hands on it. So it seemed to be something that they were going for, and they probably sold them that bill of goods that it was going to feel like that. And I don't know that it did. I think that's one of the issues with that whole sequel trilogy is just there wasn't a cohesive vision. So you have a bunch of different visions, and I think promises were made and broken. But
Yeah.
Well, it's also really bad because you could tell that his character was meant to have more going on. Like in the first movie, he picks up a lightsaber and he fights Kylo Ren. He gets his butt kicked, but he tried. That's like the dude's a badass. And then and I adore The Last Jedi, I really do. But now he's the comic relief. And then in the third movie, he's like they spent the first two movies trying to set up that there's like a romantic thing between Rey and Finn, and then in the third movie there's that moment where Finn's like, Ray, I've got to tell you, Ray, I've got to tell you, because they all think they're about to die, and we never find out what he was going to say. But then instead of he and Ray getting together at the end of the movie, he's suddenly given a completely different girlfriend, just completely out of left field. So it's just like anything and everything that he had going on in these movies was completely stripped away from him. Like, I know people like to talk about Justice Weeg and Ray Fisher, but like, I don't know, man. I feel like John Boyega got it just as bad, if not worse. Especially since we're never going to get the Snyder cut of the sequel trilogy, because that third movie was made by a completely different director who went in a completely different direction. So we're never going to get that moment of zen for that Ray Fisher got, showing, look how cool I am. John Boyega never get that.
I would love to see just every piece of footage they shot for Rise of Skywalker. If it's 6 hours, I will watch it. I'm curious to see what the hell that was.
Yeah.
Because it does feel awfully, I don't know, cut to hell. But that's besides the point. Lindsay,
that's me.
Do you think that
I do think.
Do you think it's fair of fans to be this bothered by something without really, I don't know.
Well, if you want my full opinion, if you're upset by someone saying some fans are racist, I don't know. I feel like that's the same kind of upset that it's like some men are rapists. Not all men rape. Not all fans are racist. It's like, if you're responding to that, it personally, to me, I mean, I'm not saying that's a self-tattle, but it's like, if they're not specifying you, but you're applying it to yourself, it means something about what they're saying you're projecting upon yourself. So it is kind of a self-tattle, even though I'm not saying it's a self-tattle.
But is it always the fans? Because if I were to just like soak up all of the information I saw about this in the last week, I would assume, without seeing the clip we just showed, I would assume that John Boyega called all Star Wars fans elitist white racists because of the way that certain, the way it's being presented. Yeah. Is there some sort of responsibility for, anti-woke tube to like be a bit more responsible about the clickbait that they're throwing out into the world?
Well, what you're asking for them to do is to have journalistic integrity, and for them to have that, they can't be themselves. So you're asking a pie to be a cake. It's just like it's a literal impossibility. The moment they start actually like doing their jobs earnestly and with integrity is the moment they will no longer exist. It's a physical impossibility. But that's also just my personal biases. But also like it's the day and the age in a way. Like shit gets spun out into such crazy things. Like what's the classic Twitter line? Someone says, "I like waffles," and someone responds with, "Oh, so that means you don't like pancakes." It's like
You hate
no.
pancakes.
Oh, you hate pancakes. I apologize. Which I do. Personally, crepes are the way to go. But
Oh, they're just a pancake. You were just looking at a fancy thin pancake there. But I don't know that it's necessarily clickbait. Like I said, I was on a couple different people's shows this week who really seemed to feel this, and they were really pissed off at Boyega, and they really felt some sort of attack towards them because they stood up for him before. Which to me, I don't understand that.
But yeah, it's a weird one.
Isn't this tied to like going back to something else? When Riva was getting all of that shit on Twitter, and Disney put out a tweet that said racism has no place in Star Wars, and I think Ewan McGregor did something, either retweeted or said something very similar, and the experience at that time was, why is Disney calling us racist? And it's like, they're not calling you racist. They're saying, don't, like, if you are being racist, you're not a part of our like, you're not welcome here. Like, why is it everyone taking it so personally?
Well, because one, childish overreactions on the internet are a dime a dozen, but two, again, I think it just goes back to the self-tattling thing. I don't
think that's fair. I don't think just because someone says, Disney's calling me racist, I don't know if that's a racist person who's saying, this is not how I feel. I think part of it is, whatever their algorithm is, they're hearing it from 18 different people. And you know what? When you hear it enough, you're like, you know what? Disney does think I'm a racist.
Well, I think there's also, this is going to get a little personal here, a little anecdotal, and I apologize for that, because I had a friend group who nearly exploded over the Acolyte. I'm not exaggerating this. A friend group nearly ended because one of the four of us would not stop calling it woke wars. And then there was two other people in the friend group that are like, dude, we don't care. Stop talking about this. And then there was me saying, what's woke about it? Describe the woke part. Which part is annoying you? And he just kept talking about the lesbian showrunner that worked for Weinstein, and the fact that it was all about a black woman. And I'm like, okay, so it's not wokeness that's upsetting you, it's you don't like black people in Star Wars. And he's just like, no, I'm not a racist. I'm like, I didn't say you're a racist. I just quoted you at yourself, that you don't like these black people in Star Wars, which is a race thing. He's like, no, I'm not racist. So for some people, I think it's a denial aspect. Like they're saying simultaneously, I don't like this because of this black person, but they don't accept that that's a racist thing. So I think it's all about like internalizing your own thoughts and feelings and things, and then there's like the negative connotations that go with being a racist, for obvious reasons. And it's like they don't want to both have those thoughts but also admit to themselves that why they have those thoughts. I don't know, that's kind of my take on it. And for the record, the friend group is fine now, but it's only because he promised to never talk about woke things again, and I promised to never call him racist again. Otherwise that entire friend group would have never, it would have ceased to exist.
I mean, the Acolyte was powerful. Yeah. I could see Manny Jacinto's, aura just really ruining a friendship, but I didn't anticipate that was what you were talking about. I thought it was going to go in a different direction. So I understand what you're saying, and I think that definitely is part of it. People can be taking it that way. From the couple shows that I was on, the people seem to be pissed off because they felt like they had stood up for Boyega before, and now he's turned on the fans. So they felt betrayed in that way, which I don't really get, because he's been saying stuff very similar to this all along. Like, I don't know if you remember him getting in trouble for kind of his social media posts, but he full on implied that Finn and Rey were getting together off screen, that Kylo might have gotten a kiss, but he went further.
See,
there's some really funny stuff that he was doing.
That's stirring the pot, though. That's you're inviting some of the bullshit by doing that.
I think so. And he's always kind of blown up for having certain opinions like that. I know that was kind of controversial, and then he was one of those really famous speeches from like the BLM rallies. He had this. It's not like he's hidden this position or anything like that. And then I don't feel like people are giving credit that he is part of this documentary, which is literally talking about that. Like, if there is some time to talk about, hey, I don't feel like I was accepted in this fan base, it feels like it's that doc where, he is the first Black actual, like, what do you want to call that? Han Solo
Main
replacement
character. Yeah.
Yeah, main character, very high up on the call sheet, and there were a lot of promises kind of made to him. It feels like that doc is where to go. And he talks about that a little bit further on. I didn't include those clips because they're not quoted in the article, but he does talk a little bit more about the studio and what was promised to him. And then he's been very vocal about that everywhere that he's done interviews. So I don't know why this one blew up so much.
Gray, do you think if we had the context of like the entire, like his grievances with the experience doing Star Wars, do you think it would be as big a deal as it's been the last week?
Good
I
question.
tried to add context. Like, I literally brought all of this stuff up to these guys who felt betrayed. And then I also brought up, okay, so you remember the advertising, how he was literally just taken off the one side of the poster for the Asian
China,
market
yeah.
for some reason. And how
Well,
would
they
you
take him
not
off or they
feel
shrink
somewhat
him?
betrayed? Yeah, they shrank him in
What-
one and
They
completely
shrank him.
removed
That's
him in
what it is.
another.
Okay. Oh, there was
But
one they removed him. Okay.
Yeah.
it depends on which one. But I brought all this stuff up, and it's like, do you understand why he would be in that mindset or looking at it through this lens? And that didn't seem to change it at all. It's like, no, I don't know why he's attacking the fans. They should just go after the studio. He's right. If they're going after the studio, they're the ones who wronged him, not the fans. And it's like, I don't take that statement as him saying all the fans wronged him, but
especially when he says some, he literally goes like,
Yeah.
if he was like vague and he didn't say some, all, like at least then you can, but he says some fans are like, I think some of it is in messaging. Like you talked about the fact that he spoke at a Black Lives Matter rally. Those movements, like the Black Lives Matter and the counter movement, the All Lives Matter, I think it would go a long way if the All Lives Matter movement were to say, yes, Black Lives Matter. Of course they do. But shouldn't all lives matter? It's that contradictory tone. Like it's the same thing with Disney versus the fans. Yes, Disney screwed over John Boyega, but hashtag boycott Star Wars was a thing just from the teaser because there was a black stormtrooper. So yes, Disney sucks, but at the same time, there is no room for racism in Star Wars. Yes, of course there isn't. Why can't the messaging just be like inclusive? Forgive the use of terminology.
Well, might as well be DEI then. Why not at that point?
And I don't know why that particular quote got taken out of this movie, because there's a lot more controversial things that were said in that movie. Like, it really kind of goes by fast. Like, I don't know. We all just heard the clip. To me, that doesn't sound like he's attacking the audience, but people are taking it that way. As, you stood up for him and now he's attacking you. How could he do this? He turned his back.
Could it be perceived as I don't think of race, but when someone says there's not black characters in Star Wars, and I say something like, what are you talking, like I'm thinking of the Chasing Amy clip, Lando Calrissian was a black guy, and then to hear John Boyega say it like that is like, oh, I've actually had that conversation before, he's calling me a racist. Could it be perceived as that?
It could be. And
Possibly.
I think so. That could also be another way that, someone's feeling attacked from this. But I don't know. When you watch it in context, I'm not getting that. I think they're telling their individual perception on their, experience in Hollywood. I don't know that, anyone is necessarily, do we remember any event accurately or have, like an objective point of view? No, but I think that's his experience and that's the way that he took it. I don't think he should have to soften that to, protect anybody else's feelings. I think that's the point of this documentary, is to express how you experienced your time in Hollywood. And it was powerful to me. I can't wait to watch the second half, but there's only so many hours in the day.
I'm gonna
And
check
I'm
this out.
sexist.
I'm really interested in it now.
I'm not
And
getting
not to
Apple
like
Plus.
segue to like a. That's true. I forgot it was on Apple Plus. For some reason, I keep thinking this is on Disney Plus, and no, clearly it's
Yeah.
not. Why would any of this
Sorry.
be on Disney Plus? I need to get that out of my head.
Well, yeah.
So here's a question, not to get political, but like
We're
I've
there.
seen
We've been there.
similarities. I know. I'm not to make it more political, but so there's the classic argument here in America of we need to do something about gun laws, and other people being like, you want to take our guns away? No, I just want tighter laws. Stop trying to take our guns away. Some Star Wars fans are racist. You're calling me racist. No, I'm saying some Star Wars fans are racist. Stop calling me racist. It's like everyone just wants to yell at each other and not actually like listen.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm definitely guilty of. I am not trying to pretend like I'm innocent in that. Definitely not.
It's
But it's
definitely
just,
what's going on here.
yeah.
I just don't know why this clip or this quote in particular blew up.
Because it's Star Wars.
To me, it feels very
Star Wars,
fair enough.
Yeah.
The Star Wars fan base is very dedicated, and some take it to an extreme.
How I'm not well versed. I know it's come up, and I've been in conversations where I wasn't really paying attention. But Rings of Power is that what it was? Where a black guy was cast?
That was a show.
Am I getting it right? Am I getting it right? Or is it a different?
I mean, there were people not happy that there was a black elf for sure, but I don't think that's the only issue with that adaptation.
Okay.
Just man, it was not great, and for following up on like Peter Jackson's amazing things, it doesn't hold a candle to what we got before. For me, that's my main issue, but. Yeah.
So
they don't look like they're described apparently.
Right. So, is that it? Okay. The reason I bring that up is I've heard it. I haven't watched it. But when I hear the complaints, the first issue with that is and the black elf. That's not that's not what it's like, and I can't help but think.
Well. They were also complaining that the dwarf woman didn't have a beard. She should have had a beard. So there was some equality in that. It wasn't just a color. It was nothing is like it's described in the book, which it's not. But it's an adaptation.
It seems to go back to the adaptation issue we were talking about, like with Bella Ramsey. Like, doesn't look like Ellie from the game, so it sucks. But do fans need to be more sensitive about their qualms with things and maybe focus on issues with the art itself and not so much like it sucks. Yes, it'll go back to the all lives matter thing. Yes, of course, Black lives matter, but shouldn't all lives matter? I think if all lives matter was, yes, of course, Black lives matter. But the way that it's presented has this no, we matter.
I hear what you're saying. It would be awesome if they did kind of take that kind of nuanced approach to it. But I don't hear a lot of the people complaining about it just saying it's just because of Black Elf. Like they have a laundry list of there's all these things that are wrong with it, including the story, including the fight choreography, including characterization, also fast travel. There seem to be a myriad of issues with it.
Sure.
But that one does seem to be the loudest one.
But
I don't know why.
But so loudest. Should there be some sort of awareness to be like, my first complaint shouldn't be about skin color, gender, things that can be perceived as something that I'm not trying to look like. I'm not racist. I don't want to be accused of being racist. So let me not lead with skin color.
Yes, but then I think there should also be more charity from the other side saying okay, just because they brought up this one issue with skin color doesn't mean they're racist. Where I don't know if either side is giving the charity, but
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it would be awesome if both sides were more nuanced with it and they could say, there's all these issues with this adaptation. I don't think it's a very good one, but then again, it's based off of essentially a glossary. It's not really an actual adaptation of a novel or anything like that. So they're gonna have to take liberties with it.
I think they're forbidden from even using the Silmarillion or any of the other published works like the Unfinished Tales or something like that, right? I think they just had the appendices, which is Impressive.
from what I understand. Yeah,
Lin-
yeah. I mean, they got 2 seasons out of an appendices.
Lindsay, what did you say
Clever.
about thinking?
I think thoughts. I have thoughts. I think.
Well,
What was I going to
we're
say?
not getting monetized at this point, so run amok.
Ooh, I just cracked my neck. That felt really good. Yeah, Rings of Power was a weird one. I'm just gonna vamp for a minute here. Like, I didn't hate it like other people did, but I also literally never went and watched season 2. I just, it's like it's out. Like, okay, I guess I'll watch it one day, and we're like a year and a half later, and I still haven't watched it. So I guess I'm just never gonna watch
But
it.
it has nothing to do with the fact that someone of color is in it.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Oh
like,
no, it's just because it's honestly it was everything was so predictable about it. Like by the final episode has all these big reveals that I figured out in episode 2, so it felt like the show was catching up with me. It was amazing.
Dice says, Lindsay, what did you say about thinking? Lindsay, AOL dial-up noise. Lindsay's not on his A game tonight. It's fun.
I just have those like 3 dots as I'm just like, like
It's just a pinwheel. So I understand that, sure, there are probably some people that feel like if like their escapism is like Star Wars, and like hearing about Star Wars is like what they're excited about every week. I could understand, depending on who you follow.
Mhm.
If you're hearing about John Boyega talking about race, Disney telling people not to be racist, I can understand that someone could be like, dude, I'm not racist. What the hell are you calling me this for? But at the same time, like what is owed to a fan like that to be like, hey, use your head. We're not talking about you. Like there's shitty people, and if you really want to know how bad it is and where this is coming from, join us and say there's no place. Like, dude, I just want to look at Star Wars news. I don't want to hear about racism every week. Can you guys knock it off? Like I mean, I did that Sigmund video fucking years ago now, where like the hashtag boycott Star Wars. I thought it was disturbing, and so I did a satire thing where I was like a Star Wars nerd and like just completely bothered that there was a black stormtrooper. And it's like, if you watch it, it's silly. Like why would that be an issue? I think if you're going to be there to be like, Disney, you did wrong by John Boyega, well, on your next tweet, say, hey, fans, knock it off. How is that so hard? Why is it only okay when it's the businesses that you can blame, but when it's the guy sitting next to you in the theater, oh, well, we're the same, him and I. You're not, though. You're getting shit because of things he's saying. So why don't you outright say, dude, I'm not like you. Knock it off. You're making my experience ruined.
And also, and this might be a little bit of a tangent, but here's a question. So, like, look at something like Captain Marvel. All the backlash that got, and it still made $1 billion. Do you think maybe Disney was like, oh, backlash movies make $1 billion. Let's like swing into the backlash and like, try and make that part of the thing, but then, COVID and times and things changed, and also Riva from the Obi-Wan show isn't, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, not everything is going to quite, equate out the way that you might think it is. But do you think that maybe they were trying to swing into it a little bit, or like turn into the curve, if you know what I mean?
If we're talking about Disney, and Disney for as strong a 2010s as they had, they're really eating pavement in the 2020s. I think, yes, as a studio, they've been like, society's going to have our back. They're making all of these, Captain Marvel things. And like, we know what the moral center is, and they're going to have our back. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, they're like, oh, China doesn't like this on the poster, so we need to take it out. We got to get this kiss scene out of this movie because China definitely doesn't like it. But we're winning brownie points here in the States. Of course, like they're leaning into whatever if it makes them $1 and it, they get to put the rainbow fucking thing on their Instagram. Yeah, they're going to do it. But
I think they
Yeah, that's a
definitely
good
thought
point.
that they had clearance to do that on anything that like whatever they printed would be $1 billion. But man, they kind of pulled a fast one on all of us with Captain Marvel, just saying like, in order to understand Endgame, you need to see this. And man, I think a lot of people felt some backlash from that too.
Did they actually say
I
that? I don't remember
I
that. Was it Feige
swear
said
that's
that,
the
or
way that
like?
I I want to go back to that time because I didn't write down who it was, but I remembered that was kind of the advertisement for it, and that's the reason that I
Funny.
went to see it in theater. But
Yeah, I mean that
I
works.
so I yeah, I should do some more research on that. I just know that was the impression that I got back then, and
Okay.
that's what caused me
Okay.
to see it because I didn't want to be lost,
I
But
go on,
I
Gray.
think that definitely greenlit a whole bunch of other Marvel ones that they thought would be similar, and I don't think they had quite the same success.
Yeah,
Yeah, agreed.
I think Disney, for as much of an empire as they earned in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and they profited from it in the 2010s, they need to re-earn an audience again. Like, you can't just buy everything that's doing well and then just rest on those laurels. It's time to win an audience back, and nothing that they've done in the last 5 years has said to me, "Oh yeah, we're at the top of our game." I know the answer before I ask the question, but do you think that there's any incentive for these anger merchants to maybe calm down with this rage bait shit?
From what I've experienced, I don't see it as rage bait. Like, it literally is pissing these guys off, and I was trying to calm them down and trying to explain like every reason why I'm not upset by hearing that, even though I lump myself in the Star Wars fans, apparently even bigger fans than some of them, as I didn't hate the Acolyte as
Mhm.
much as other people do. I didn't think it was successful, but I can see things that I really liked and are interested that they brought that into canon now. And then I really loved Skeleton Crew, and there's so many people who tapped out well before Skeleton Crew. But so I think I am part of this audience that they're talking about, and I do think there are some in that audience who are unsavory types. So I don't know. I tried to explain every reason why I'm not taking offense to it, but that didn't seem to make them feel any less betrayed. Again, they were defending, and they've been nothing but good. So how could he paint them with this brush?
So,
I don't know, man.
as
Is
the
it like a parasocial thing too? Sorry, just a quick thought I just had, where it's like you feel like you've developed like some kind of like friendship or connection with someone, and even if you haven't, and then could that be an element of it, or
dude,
am I
I could
overthinking that there?
anytime I have some sort of issue brought to me, and it feels a little anti woke, I can name you
Mhm.
one of 3 content creators where I'm like, yeah, I know what they said, but what do you feel?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, I don't know, as much as 2 people are screaming at a wall and neither are being heard, do you think maybe the more level-headed, the ones that aren't angry about this, maybe should, lower their guard a little bit and be like, "Hey, listen, that I get it, you're mad, you think that they're talking about you, but they're not." Like,
I tried that. I tried to explain the lens that Boyega might be seeing it through, and then what this quote was for. It didn't seem to do any help.
Are
But those are the reasons why it's like, yeah, I can understand why he's saying this,
Gray,
and I don't think he's necessarily wrong.
are you of the opinion that they discount the fact that he experienced racism from fans?
No, they said that they can see that, but still he shouldn't be attacking the fans. He should be so I'm thinking of particularly one podcast that I was on. It was mainly me versus this other dude, and yeah, he was just saying still he shouldn't be attacking the fans. He should be attacking the studio. They're the ones who did it to him, not the fans.
Yeah, there was a comment on my post, or I think a couple of comments, where someone said, "Well, he should have known that. He took their money. He should know what comes with the territory." And I did Adam Driver have racism that he dealt with when he signed the contract? Did Daisy
One of the
Ridley?
characters really? Yeah, I was gonna say, did Daisy Ridley think that she was gonna get better? I'm pretty sure they were all sold kind of a bill of goods on what this could be, and I don't think it ended up being what they were told initially.
Yeah, I don't know if I would blame John Boyega for cashing his paycheck from Disney. I don't know if like how would you know that? Yeah, I'm gonna be in Star Wars, and the second they show a teaser, there's gonna be a hashtag boycott Star Wars movement because I'm a stormtrooper in the movie. Because specifically something that people don't know about me on the inside, just the color of my skin does not match what these people think. Like why would how do you factor that in?
Yeah.
Yeah, how
And
do
he's
you
been
predict
very
that?
vocal in the
That's
past too, saying like he no longer has a contract with Disney. He doesn't think that he'll ever go back to there. Like he's been pretty vocal about it, but you always have to kind of leave a door open in Hollywood. You can't
Sure.
just like totally say they've burned me, so never again. So I don't know. Even with that, it seems like you'd have to kind of couch your hatred towards Disney. But he said things along the lines of like the contract is done, so I don't think there's any relationship there.
Oh wow.
Fair enough.
It seems like the fans wouldn't want him back, and like I don't know if I I don't know. I just feel like
Well, we need you to know.
I'm trying to work it out. It feels like to be uncharitable, it feels like that people are just milling for content at times. Because I don't know
Yeah.
if I had heard this, if this would be a big deal. Rachel Zegler, another one that I don't know what started her like on the bad side of fandom was that she said, like, she made that weird face and she said it's kind of weird that
Well, also, it's outdated and we changed it and a whole bunch of. But
yeah.
like, were you that passionate about Snow White before? It's weird because you're right. I feel like people are jumping on this bandwagon. It doesn't start with them, but I don't know. From what I've experienced on the different podcasts with these dudes, they seem to be really passionate about it. That somehow this is a slap in the face to them, and I guess it is outrage culture or whatever, but I don't get the feeling that it's fake. I get the feeling that they actually are outraged about these issues and they're looking at the next one to be outraged about.
What are they celebrating? Like if this clearly makes
good
them angry, what is it that they're celebrating?
What brings them
That's a good
happiness?
point. I mean, most of them were celebrating Wolverine and Deadpool, and then they keep bringing up that, like things can work out. You can make a good one. That seems to be something that they're championing, but I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of the same outrage towards Superman at this point that, like, see everything, all these leaks, they're showing you that James Gunn can't do it and he's ruining Superman. So I think they're just waiting for the next thing. Whatever is kind of the news thing, it somehow outrages them, which I guess that's what our social media is nowadays. It's the only way to get traction.
I can understand when you have a couple of million subscribers and you're just clocking in 1 million views of video per day. I can understand milling that content. Farm the shit out of anger, sure. But if you're one of us and you're just milling anger without any real fiduciary interest in that anger.
Oh, fancy word.
I'm trying to clear the stupid people so they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. What is there, like you're just farming anger. Like you don't even have like the financial back end for it. Like what's the end goal for just being angry about shit and not having a release?
I mean, they're getting not necessarily everybody on the bandwagon, but those big ones that are outraged that seem to be talking the most about it, they're getting views. So I assume it's kind of the bandwagon thing, but maybe I'm wrong.
Or they're
Maybe I'm being
hoping that
cynical
they
about
can,
it.
like, oh, if I make a video with the right title, I'll go viral right now, and then I can make my own hate monger YouTube.
That just seems to imply that it's like fake outrage, though. But what I've been experiencing this week, like it seems to be real. Like these guys are going on actual rants, and they seem to be passionate about it. It doesn't come off as phony to me, but I understand what you're saying. It feels like it's one thing after another to be raged about, and then you make the same thumbnail, very similar thumbnails to everybody else, saying how horrible something is. But you're right. What are they championing? I'm having a hard time coming up with anything other than Deadpool Wolverine at this point.
Is there a chance that we are in the worst possible time for film fandom? Because like they're missing hard right now. I think if you were to swap like movies now with the 80s, would we have this like outrage culture if, Die Hard were coming out, Back to the Future, RoboCop? Would people really find reasons to be angry at those things?
Some of those might come
Bruce
off as
Willis is
woke
too
today.
good.
Sorry, you both went at once. What?
He's got a
I
point.
made a
Bruce
bad
Willis
joke.
might be too
Great, go
good.
for it.
Well, I was kind of going along the same things. Like, I think a lot of those might be seen as super woke nowadays, even though it's the exact same plot, exact same actors. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there would be a way to get, upset at those films, but I still think there's some hugely amazing films that maybe aren't this cinema that isn't being shown in these movie theaters right now. I
Right.
think there are different qualities of it, and I think what's amazing about today is amazing, and I think we're getting so much more, but I think there is this lowest common denominator. Hey, this thing is familiar, let's throw this out. Hey, this was just popular, let's throw out another one.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's going to call the Minecraft movie cinema, but man, there's some amazing things out there. We were championing a bunch of them last year. I think last year I had a bunch of them that were really, really good on my list, more so than a lot of the previous years, and maybe that was due to the shutdown of everything. But I don't know. I think the major box offices are being led by these either sequels or reboots or whatever familiar IP, and I don't think that's necessarily where good cinema is going. I think quality is still there, and I'm glad that The Substance got at least nominated last year and got some eyes on it.
Yeah, I think studios are just really especially cynical more than ever now. Lindsay, I'm sorry, you guys spoke at the same time and you never got to get.
Oh, I was just gonna make a dumb joke. I don't even remember what it was.
Doesn't that suck?
I'm glad that
Doesn't it
Bruce
suck?
Willis.
Oh yeah, about Bruce Willis being great. That's so I should get my Bruce Willis appreciation out there because Bruce Willis is a legend, and he's going through a tough time right now. I briefly touched on this last week. Like, this year has been not a great year of cinema so far, but I loved Companion. So there's always going to be those little, those like diamonds in the rough, I feel like. But is that enough? I don't feel like it is.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
like on the flip side, something that we celebrated hard. It just has an hour, 10-minute long. It doesn't have an incredible amount of views, but I was made aware of it, and then someone commented a link to that same video. There's this Strange Darling misogynist piece that I might be doing.
That video.
We might be doing some sort of reaction to it, but like when you have this movie that people are celebrating, and then someone else is like, "This is wrong for these social reasons." Like what encouragement is there to put your art out there if someone is just going to get an audience for saying you're saying the wrong things?
That is interesting. I have actually heard that before. So I'm curious. Is it the video? Does it think that the fact that it portrays the woman as a serial killer, does that diminish like the danger that women have with dating and stuff like that? Or
I haven't watched
No,
all
it's
of it.
saying that all women are that way. At least that was the impression
okay,
that I
fair.
got.
Yeah.
It's apparently painting women with a broad brush, and they're all inept as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of personal interpretation from what I gathered in this analysis of
Definitely
it.
sounds
Which
like it.
I didn't watch all of it, but the accusation was that the movie is telling you that women lie about sexual assault and all women are liars. And the word "all women" are used, and I can't help but think of Strange Darling. When I think of Strange Darling, there's 7 females in that movie, and 6 of which aren't liars. They actually try to help someone else. If anything,
Mhm.
I think Strange Darling passes the Bechdel test.
It definitely does.
So like this person took issue with the fact that it was called a feminist horror film, and I don't know if listen, I none of us are 100% equipped to have this conversation, I guess, but I'll be honest, I don't know what makes a feminist horror. See?
That's a good question. I can
I do
think
think
of.
that's yeah. Cool.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say I can think of a couple examples, but even then, I think somebody could argue that that doesn't necessarily paint all women in a good light. So maybe that wouldn't qualify. I'm not sure. That is a really interesting question. Maybe that's
Dice
worth thinking about.
Dice says, so we're okay with these broad statements, all women are liars, but as the sentence all men, it's a problem.
That's a very good point, actually. I would love to see the Venn diagram of people that share those opinions.
So I haven't watched all of it. Like I really wanted to mill content out of it because I mean, shit,
You should. That
we've
sounds awesome.
we've done what, 10 hours worth of Strange Darling content.
Scrolling,
Keep
yeah.
going.
Mhm.
There was a couple of jabs that I
You've
saw.
got kind of a marathon going up sometime in the future.
Yes,
Perhaps that sounds
indeed.
just perfect.
Just
for that.
throw that right in the middle of that. I lost my thought.
Sorry about that.
No. I think I was losing it anyway. Strange Darling accusation made. One of the accusations made towards Strange Darling is that it's very paper thin. I wouldn't dispute that. I think if anything is kind of flawed in Strange Darling, it's the script. But something I would defend about Strange Darling is its visual storytelling. I think the principle of that movie, right from the opening black and white shot, is what do you perceive from what the information we're giving you? Because
But I think the script handles that flawlessly. I will champion the script on this, man.
Okay.
I think he was trying to do a similar message in his first film. I'm forgetting what it's called. It's not Angels and Demons, but it's
the
Angels and
Western
something.
movie, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was going for a very similar thing, but man, that does not work for me. Where this one, just the way that the story is all laid out, like, yes, there are certain beats that you get from it, and you do have to keep those somewhat succinct, but man, that script really works for me. I would defend it.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
And like the crux of all of this is Strange Darling didn't make its budget back. So like, why are we making hit pieces on something that isn't really I think part of the issue in this thesis was there's so much praise for this movie, but it's dangerous.
Yeah.
There's just odd, like, what is danger? Like, I did
Well,
tell
if it's
someone
misogynist and it's getting, if somebody were praising a very unfortunate film, I'm trying to think of one that's, kind of notorious, Birth of a Nation, something like that. If somebody's really praising it, I guess that could be dangerous, that it could normalize some horrible beliefs, but still, I don't think making a hit piece on it is the...
What if you cast...
I don't know.
I mean, this was a joke for a while. What if you cast Amber Heard in that role? Would that be too on the nose?
in Strange Darling.
Yes.
That would have been fascinating.
Like, isn't that kind of like part of the one note question that the film asks you? What do you think when you see something? When someone says, "Are you a serial killer?" and then the next shot you see is someone getting strangled. What is your brain telling you?
That's true. I mean, like those types of things kind of come up over again and again and again in the movie. We expect Kyle Gallner's a murderer; he's a cop. We expect her to be an innocent; she's a killer. We expect the old couple to be sweet and charming. They're freaking hippies,
Spoiler.
and I love them in the movie. Oh, sorry.
I mean, we've spoiled it many a time.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
But yeah, it plays with your preconceived notions, your preconceptions of it, and man, does it do that masterfully.
Yeah,
for me, I can't get enough.
Right. I think from a technical aspect, to not acknowledge the fact that the movie's challenging your perceptions is, I don't think that's fair. But We'll probably discuss that at great length. Um,
Hell yeah.
Don't tell me what to discuss.
what do we
It was the
have?
royal we. It's just going to be Charles.
What do we have?
That's fine,
What do we
that's
have
fine.
coming up on this week? There's a lot coming out on the.
Yeah, I think this is a bye week, right?
Yeah, I'm not seeing a ton this week. I know Sinners is next week.
So it's
Which
just
I'm excited for. That does look really good.
Minecraft
Yeah.
layover.
And
Minecraft
I think
layover, there you
Final
go.
Destinations next week as well.
Final Destination is this.
Oh no,
this
sorry,
Friday?
sorry. No, excuse me. That's May. I'm so sorry. I have a list, and apparently I put that one in the wrong month. My bad.
Okay.
Okay, hold on, I'm pulling up April right now.
Yeah, I
And so
know
this is gonna be
Sinners
April-
is the 8th.
11th, right?
Yeah, the 10th and 11th, I think. I've never heard of any of these. Doesn't necessarily mean they're not good, though. The Amateur, Drop, Warfare, King of Kings, Gunslingers, Sacramento, Zero, and I
Drop.
don't know what any of these are, though.
Drop is that
Oh, Drop is that horror
Blumhouse,
movie. That's
that
right.
first
That one
date
actually, I've
thing?
heard interesting things about that one. I do want to see that. I don't know why that's not on my list. Cool.
Yeah, sure, it'll be all right.
Yeah. Apologies for the spoiler. Lindsay's having a rough night.
What are you talking about here? There was no spoiler. I didn't say nothing about no spoilers.
We want people.
I
We
apologize.
want people to watch Strange Darling as much as possible. We are not on anybody's payroll, too, for the record.
That's true, too.
I would argue that even if every part of it was spoiled, it's still worth seeing.
I agree
To
with
me,
that.
there are no spoilers for that movie.
I would.
Sorry if we impeded some of your enjoyment of it, but still,
Yeah.
don't use
Also,
that to not see
yeah.
it.
I would say that the nonlinear way it's presented is a little gimmicky, but I think that's due to the challenge that the art is presenting to you. What do you think? The first thing you see, what are your thoughts, and why do you feel that way? But yeah, Lindsay, what do you got coming up?
Well, now that you're talking about on my channel, right?
Whatever you want to plug.
I apologize. I've been a little scatterbrained tonight. I
Yes.
apologize, guys. But still getting settled into the place. Now that I've figured out that a huge part of the sound issues I was having was the room I was recording in, was just a bad room to be doing that in.
microphone.
Hopefully I'll start making some stuff. Say it again.
It's the microphone.
Oh, that too. I mean, it's a combination of the microphone and the fact that the room I was in was echoey, and it's once again, I've got the new mic. I just need the interface to plug it into because the one that I bought was bad. Then I need to replace that. But hopefully that'll get fixed this week, and I'll be up and running again here soon. I really, really want to start making content again. I legitimately miss it.
Indeed, there's tons to pick through here if you want to do shorts again.
I did mean to do one for last week. I just didn't have time for it.
I don't blame you. Between the two of us,
Also, my audio was so bad last week.
well, so I'll work around to it. Lindsay, if you can find the link for that fundraiser and get it to me, I'll put it in the chat because I'll be
You mean
plugging both of our things after Gray
Yes,
goes, of course. So
of course.
get moving. Gray, where can people listen to you have racist arguments?
Good point. So I am on the internet almost every day. I don't know if I really want to advertise
That's
those
fine.
channels, but I am a regular on them. You can probably find me around. Apparently, I even got an IMDb credit for it, which is ridiculously
Hey
stupid.
now.
But
That's pretty
hey,
cool.
if you want to do the digging, you can probably find it. But I am making my own content soon. I had the hopes of launching a new show on 420 and then had a really bad weekend. Unfortunately, my grandmother was in really poor health, so I got to kind of say goodbye and spend a very prolonged few days just waiting for the inevitable. So that was kind of shitty, but because of that, I didn't do all the stuff that I was supposed to do, like graphics, songs, stuff like that. So it's going to be a May release now, but new content eventually. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, if you just can't get enough and you want to see Charles as well, and perhaps you want to hear even another version or an extended version of this conversation on adaptation, come by That Darn Kidda's channel Thursday evening for The Thinkers. This time we're taking on this whole thing of adaptation. So it's a bunch of people from like 3-4 different countries getting together, disagreeing about everything. This time it's adaptation. So yeah, if you want a prolonged version of that, come by, hang out with us Thursday night. That's
Hey,
all
just
I got
to
going on.
clarify, do you mean the Nicolas Cage movie adaptation, or like
You can
adaptation as
bring
like
it
a
up. It was a
concept
book
at large?
first, the concept at large, but that still fits either way. It's a decent movie, but yeah, if
It's a
any
very good
form of
movie.
adaptation, appeals to you, come by, check out The Thinkers. That Darn Kidda's channel.
Hell yeah.
YouTube at That
Hell
Darn Kid.
yeah.
So here, I don't know how to present it. I've got to see a doctor. I'm in debt for doctors here, and if I leave while I'm in debt, I will not be allowed back into this country. So I need to raise funds because I legally cannot work.
Oh my god.
I don't know how to look into the camera and tell you that I legally cannot work. This is definitely for customs more than anything. But I'll be doing a live stream / telethon / marathon where we'll be raising funds. There's a link in the description down below. I will probably put it in the chat as well. Also, there is a fundraiser for Lindsay, who greatly dealt with some shit due to the Los Angeles fires. As you can tell, Lindsay's backdrop is different. That's because his old backdrop no longer exists. Is it fair to say that, Lindsay?
It all burned up, and they cleared the lot about 2 weeks ago, which is it's just kind of this big hole in the ground. It's like the front yard and the backyard kind of look more or less like they always did, but the house itself is just scooped out. I will say though that I would prioritize Charles over me, because that's not being able to legally work is kind of nuts.
Well,
but I do appreciate you plugging me. That really means the world. I love you, buddy. Like, seriously, you're gonna make me cry over here?
No, I like worst case scenario. I have somewhere to go, so it's a little bit different. But I would like to think that my family is here. As much as legally is concerned, this is not my home. As far as my emotions are concerned, I am home. My wife is where my home is, even though legally my home is the United States. It kind of sucks that we got to raise funds and ask you guys for money. Luckily, the United States is doing fantastically financially, so you guys should have so much extra money to spare. So this isn't bad timing at all for finances. But
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm tired of winning personally.
Yeah. So I to clear I need to clear my debt just to be able to come back in November. So I'll be streaming until I hit my floor. There is a ceiling, but I really don't think I'll hit that. But there might be something of a test stream where we'll have ideas for like tiers. Someone suggested, and I like it, the highest donation will get to name my cyst that needs to come out of my body. Ooh. So
there's so many ideas.
So
Cysty,
come on.
Cysty.
I mean, cysty would be good. Cystiphus, come on, it's constantly pushing that boulder. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
there's so many ways.
I'm not gonna lie, Sisyphus is kind of incredible, sir.
That is my favorite of the ideas. We'll be doing a dry run, like a just to get the link out there, and tiers for what donations equal what. I'm not very well prepared for this, but I need to do it. So have
you set up a GoFundMe for yourself, by the way? Or
yes, it's not a GoFundMe because I'm not home.
Sure. Okay.
It's a. It's in the description. I should have looked for it. What is it called? I see. This is how bad I am.
No, you're good, man.
Dice,
Also, I
what
dropped
is it
mine
called?
in the Discord, by the way.
Okay, I will,
Nice.
while I try to spin wheels, um, I
So,
have,
so one thing I do want to point
thank
out
you.
that's been incredible in the wake of the fires and like my dad and stuff is just like the amount of people that are coming forward, and it's overwhelming, and it's like it's a little scary sometimes, but like there are a lot of really good people out in the world, and we're all kind of in this together. I'm gonna get a little teary eyed here. Yeah, I'm surprised I got through 2 shows so far without crying. I've been such an emotional wreck lately. But I know it's hard times for everyone, not just us. But it's been really nice over the last couple of months just seeing people really willing to come forward and help each other out. And I can't say that enough. And so I need to get that on the record here as well. Also,
Thanks.
I'm out of vamp material now, so I'm gonna just start dancing.
We got it. Thank you, Lindsay. It's Spot Fund is what my
Dice just beat me for it. Beat me to it, I should say. I'm sure I deserve to be beaten for other reasons, but yeah, I was gonna say it. I was just waiting for Lindsay to finish up, and my bad. I should have just posted it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
So
thank you.
my link, oddly enough, my link is Lindsay's crowdfunding, and Dice's link is my crowdfunding. So the GoFundMe link is Lindsay. The Spot Fund is mine. I'm trying to get myself marathon ready, and I'm doing poorly. I meant to sleep tonight to be ready for this stream because it's 4:45 a.m. where I am.
Oh, Jesus.
But like, if I'm going to do this, I need to get myself ready for hours of streaming. I don't expect to have the goals raised in like an hour or two. So this might be a days long thing. I probably will stop to sleep because I have a cyst in my stomach, so maybe I shouldn't be going for 50 hours straight. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Didn't mean to bring this to a halt. So
Oh no, you're
so
good.
drastically.
What are you going to do for the stream? Are you watching something or?
It depends.
Yes, and
Yeah, it
Yes.
so I'll be doing like a dry run, and I'll be open to suggestions. Like I said, the fact that someone said the person who pays the most should be able to name your cyst, that's officially the thing. Like top
yeah, that's a
top
brilliant
donation gets to name my cyst. I don't know. Like I'll see if I can. I think because it's medical waste, you cannot get it. But if I can get it to give to you, like it's yours. I don't know if that's humanly possible. They don't even let me have my teeth when I lose them at the dentist. So if you can literally have my cyst, I will do whatever I can to get it.
Slip them a couple of pounds. They'll take a picture of it. You can get a picture of it, right?
Yeah, I was thinking if the donation is high enough to do some sort of like movie related like homage to it, like doing a riff on Alien, the chest burster, or insert pregnancy scene from a movie here. Just as an extra thank you where I don't know. All ideas are welcome. But yeah, we'll be brainstorming that first, and then
How much money would I need to donate for you to watch Salo on repeat for 10 hours?
Not as much as you'd think. We got, what was it, like 5 hours of Human Centipede out of, I'm just saying, it's affordable.
because you spoke it into existence, Lindsay, the chat will now pay however many targets they'll do that. So thank you, Lindsay, for foolishly doing that.
Love you, big guy.
Love you too. Hopefully we're all square and everything will work out okay. But
Yeah, this year has sucked. It's been a bad start, man. Like, here, fingers crossed for Q2 here.
yeah,
Like-
yeah.
Hey, it started pretty strong.
Did it? For who?
For video game movies.
Yes. If I had Minecraft stock, I'd be doing just fine right now. All right, so thank you to those of you who stuck with us for 2 hours, 45 minutes. We're supposed to work on the kinks. You'll know that Lindsay's back to normal when you see that that hideous gray microphone isn't there. Not gray, silver. Excuse me.
Based.
I apologize, Gray. But
Actually, can you
good color.
just superimpose Gray's face over my microphone?
Ooh.
Like, just like.
with notice, I
Nobody
can.
wants that.
Or maybe the jar.
Well, the jar would be good. But theoretically, next week I should have both the interface and the microphone, and it should be better. I do apologize. It's been a process.
Sean says, looking at the amount you need to raise Godspeed, all I'll say is, thank you, Sean. I don't expect to raise that amount. There is a floor that I need to hit just to be able to come back. So if I leave with the cyst still in my stomach, as long as I'm able to come back, that's the most important part. If we can pay for them to take it out, that's
Does it change how you feel about it if you have named it? Would you want to keep it more?
I don't know. That's a good. Yeah, we could have a 2-hour discussion on that during the actual the stream itself, though. And yeah, depending on how long, I'm assuming it's going to go a while. So hopefully we'll have guests and people come join me, and we could BS about just about anything, just to kill time and get the stream going. But for Lindsay and Gray, I've been Charles. We'll see you in a week.
I